All right, let's get started then. Again.
Yeah,
Guys, check out this tiny hat I crocheted for myself.
yeah. Emma's in the spirit.
Hi, I'm Sero. This is my stream, seroRPG, and I like to play RPGs, usually with friends, sometimes on my own. But either way, most of them get streamed, and you get to join us today as we play part 3 of our Ghost of El Paso series, The Wounded Knight. What should I do? I'll just quickly introduce everyone and let you know the audience know how you can fuck with us, although we still have some fucking left over from last session, which will
Yeah.
now probably soon fuck us. But
Yeah,
anyway,
okay.
we have David from Trials of the Apocalypse, who is our keeper. We have
Hello.
Pat, also from the Trials of the Apocalypse, who is Cyrus Danforth. We have Miah, who is from the Monsters Playbook, who is playing Casey James. And we have Emma, also from Trials of the Apocalypse, who is playing Felicity. Now, Felicity Faust. Now, you can fuck with us by spending either Kiwi coins or donating some bits or doing some tips. You know the drill. By now, you should at least. We have been given some pluses and some minuses. We will work that out in a moment. Anyway, let's move it along. Ghost of El Paso, The Wounded Knight. David, please take it away.
Absolutely. Welcome everybody back to Ghosts of El Paso. We're going to be taking a journey into a place full of the Wild West, spirits, gunfights, and mean old specters. We're in the middle of a couple of threats right now. We're actually I was gonna say midday, but we're not. We're approaching the night phase. We're mid-cycle, I guess you should say, for our second day here in El Paso. A lot happened last session. Just before we caught everybody up with some of the things that transpired, Maya, since you have the most detailed notes, would you give us a quick blitz through of what happened last time so we can catch our audience up since it's been a few weeks?
Sure, I can do that. So we got a glimpse of the big bad guy dressed in all black with a black cane. We put some clues together for the previous question, if that's correct.
Yeah,
The
we answered a couple of questions the session before, right? We answered a question about the Rebel Gold, establishing like where it was that it was there buried by the church, right? And then the other thing, I think, if remind me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we did a cold no clue answer of is the Daisy Man a ghost or a living person, with a -2 because it was just a 2 complexity, and you all decided that the Daisy Man was a living person, right?
yes, yep.
Yeah.
And speaking of the Daisy Man, what his deal is that there's been a series of burglaries, and this Daisy Man leaves a daisy at the scene of the crime. It's been at some saloons on the boardwalk and some private residence, and the bank is afraid that they are next. Um, Cyrus and Felicity had gone to the church. Felicity, distracted, and I believe made a contract with Mirren. No, yes, Mirren. No, Myrna. Words.
Myrna, yeah. Myrna
Myrna.
Stokes.
Thank you. And Cyrus dug a hole and he found some Aztec gold. And I forgot to cover this previously when we discussed it, but a ghost from, is it your past or whatever? You had a moment with Cyrus?
Oh, yeah. Cyrus
Oh,
sees a figure from his books. Texas Tom, a figment representing the spirit of the Wild West. Um, he's a larger than life figure for sure.
Um, Casey went to where the Skaggs hideout is, by the caves, and tried to talk to them, and nothing much happened there. But we did see a cowboy in Asian clothing, looking kind of like a samurai, following
You met a
Casey.
samurai.
I did. Um, Gert, uh, Yes, Gertie. For some reason, I was like, wait, is
Arg.
that the
Grr.
Brendwood Bay character? I forgot. I was having
Oh,
problems there.
Bill.
It's been a while. Gertie went to, was it you went to Declan or to the bank?
To Declan.
I think I went to Declan, yeah.
Okay.
We haven't done the
And
bank yet.
Declan is a wealthy man. You found a trail of salt crystals there. We also got a mastermind clue about a pile of fresh tombstones that had everybody's name on them. And another clue of the Daisy Man wide brimmed hat. Person puts a daisy in the church's offering box. I believe Felicity saw this. And then clarify me, David.
Mhm.
I have it in my notes. Felicity, falls through a trap into a tunnel.
Yeah, so Felicity chased after the person who left the daisy, and in pursuit of them, as they turned a corner into an alleyway, Felicity followed them and fell into their clever trap, wherein Felicity fell through a false bottom into the tunnel we'd been in previously, into the mucky, oily filled
And
tunnel
did
underneath the church.
Cyrus also fall in?
That was the first session where
Yeah,
I
Okay.
fell
Cyrus
in.
helped Felicity out and rolled poorly, but then used a mask to bump it up.
Got it. And then Gertie had tested the salt at Declan's, and
Salty.
follow the trail and found a light shoe print in the salt. Was there anything else that I'm missing there with Gertie or Felicity or Cyrus?
No, I think then it was your gunfight.
Yep, then it was my kick-ass gunfight where I rolled a 15, killed the samurai, and took his mule and named it Salt Lick.
That's right.
Mic drop.
Took his
We got
mule,
Salt
took his
Lick and Sweet
katana,
Bun.
and
Well, no Sweet Bun anymore. Sweet Bun ran off.
yeah, no,
Yes.
Sweet Bun was ran off by the Skags camp, right? So
Yes.
because you had
And I
to do the slow walk back to town.
Yes, I ended up just walking. I do also have in my notes that I have a reroll, but I don't have anything about for anyone else. So
I have +1 and reroll, and I don't think I've used either of those yet.
I got a +1, a -1, and a reroll.
yeah, and then
I
Pat, you also
had
have a +1.
I had a +1 carried over from last game. That was for
Okay.
the next roll, and just got another +1 at the beginning of this stream. So
Oh,
do
yeah.
I have a +2 to my next roll, or do I have 2 +1s on my next 2 rolls?
You're cool, David.
I would say dealer's choice. You being the dealer here, if you feel like you have a roll that you'd really like to bump, go for it. Otherwise, spread it out. That's fine with me. What I will say is we, in the course of that last session, thank you for the summary, by the way, Miah. That catches us up in kind of the events of the day. I'm going to do 2 quick status checks. First off, for our hunters, as we move into the night phase here, our hunters are still laden with some conditions of the day. Felicity is currently coated in crude oil, so that could come up to affect her negatively in the night phase.
I'm never going to get it out of this dress. It's going to be stay. I'm going to have to change my color from blue to black. It's just how it is now.
Yeah. At the very least, that dress is probably should just be burned at this point.
It would burn really well.
Yeah. Gertie took a bullet to the shoulder. That was the day before, right? The night before.
The night
So
before, yeah.
you've been nursing that. Casey James, you are indebted. I believe that relates to Felicity, and then also you have a lacerated arm with shrapnel as well from the night before that you're resting up from. And Cyrus is always permanent condition insignificant. So everything's normal for Cyrus over there.
That's not how we feel about you, Cyrus. It is how Felicity feels about you, but it's not how we feel about you.
I was going to say,
pretty
speak for
I'm
your own
pretty sure it's
character.
how Gertie feels too.
It might be how we feel about you, Cyrus.
And the other thing I wanted to review with everyone is where we stand as far as clues. I'm not going to read off ones that we've already used to answer previous questions, but I will read ones that are live. So it was mentioned by Miah, but we do currently have an active mastermind clue that we haven't used. That's a series of gravestones with the names of the hunters or townfolk who are not yet dead. In this case, it was all the hunters and several people from town who we knew. That is a clue that we could use. I'll remind everybody that while normally when playing the Between or Ghost of El Paso, you can't use mastermind clues for normal threats. Here, when we're doing one shots and stuff, we bend those rules a little bit, and anything is fair game as long as you can make it work for the narrative. So that is on the table. What we still have lingering for the Hunt for the Rebel Gold mystery that includes the gold we've been digging up and the ghost ship that's out on the river. Lingering clues there are fresh wagon tracks that disappear into a building as if the building wasn't there. This we discovered near somewhere close to the river, near the docks. So there's something going on there that we can use. We have a depiction of a quail in an Aztec style, the symbol of Totec, god of agriculture and goldsmiths. This was stamped on the gold that was found buried in the graveyard. So that is also at our disposal. There was a secret tunnel with a shallow river of oil that we've made several visits to, but we managed to not use it on the previous roll, so we still have that one available. That's what we have as far as the Hunt for the Rebel Gold is concerned. And then for the Daisy Man, we have a strange visitor offering the gift of a single daisy. That happened at the church. That's who Felicity chased. We have a trail of salt that seems to pass through a wall that was at Declan's house where he had been robbed. And then an unusually light shoe print in the dust, which was also at Declan's house. And the active questions that we have for the Hunt for the Rebel Gold, a complexity 4, how can we use the gold to get the CSS Memphis to pass on to the next world? That's, again, only a complexity 4. We do currently have 3 clues lingering for that threat, as well as the mastermind clue that could be used for that if you wanted to develop a theory and answer that question. And then for the Daisy Man, we answered the first question, are they a ghost or a living person? We decided he was a living person, and we've now seen him leave traps and do other nefarious things. As a result of that, our next question to answer is, if the Daisy Man is a living person, how are they using the power of the Wounded Knight to become incorporeal? And that is a complexity 6 question that we could answer if we decided to. We do currently have 3 clues, again, plus the mastermind, that are available to go for that. So before we enter the night phase, before we introduce the unseen for the night and we start moving into that part of play, a question to the players: are there any questions we'd like to answer before we start the night phase? Because that could affect then what events we have during the night. Do we want to answer? We have a good amount of clues for both of them. We'd certainly be rolling at a bit of a disadvantage for the Daisy Man, but we could still elect to try to answer it and bump that roll with either masks or with Felicity's. What's the name of that move?
Damned if you do, I think.
Yeah, the damned if you do move, where everybody could take the condition damned, and then you could bump a roll.
I mean, I'm not opposed to using a mask or 2 or 3 this episode
Yeah,
Yeah.
for myself.
Blaze of Glory,
I
everybody.
could use one too.
I have some thoughts, but they're more in the sense of what to do and less in the sense of answering a question, which has been
Yeah.
one of my issues. Because
So,
like there's a part of me that wants to go and like wants to do one of 2 things. Either go to the bank, hang out in the vault where we think that the Daisy Man is going to try and hit next. And like, basically do a sting operation. Or we have all of this gold now. We could like basically try to make a separate honeypot to try and draw the Daisy Man in. That one's a little bit higher risk though, because
I mean, I will say you could
I
totally try to sting Operation the Daisy Man either direction. Until the question is answered, you can't resolve the threat out. So like he would ultimately get away, or the end result would still be somewhat left unresolved if that was the case. But you could actually absolutely do that and try to get some information that way, which could contribute to answering that in some future episode.
I really like the staking out and hiding in the vault.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it
me
would be
too.
fun.
Yeah.
Especially if I can use one of my ghost capturing contraptions.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
We can we can either capture him in physical human form or if he's in ghost form.
Yeah.
Remind me, Dave. So, like, if we were going to answer the Daisy Man question, we would use the. Oh my gosh, Grady. Sorry.
He's
we would.
very much clingy right now.
Yeah,
there
he
he goes.
is. Yeah. We would only be able to get it to like what, a -3 because we have 3 questions.
You could technically get to a -2 on the roll if you also managed to integrate the gravestones, the mastermind clue.
Mm-hmm. And it's just 2d6 -2.
Yep.
If we okay.
It's if
What
we
do we
use a
wanna do,
mask.
kids?
And then, so basically, whatever the result is, if you all put on a mask or if you all take the condition damned, then you can boost it by a level. So if you roll a failure, you get a mixed success. If you roll a mixed success, you can get a full success. Yada yada.
Isn't everyone but me damned, or is it just
Nope.
Emma?
Emma was earlier, but she managed to clear
I'm
the
not
condition.
damned
so
anymore.
she's not damned
Okay.
anymore. But everyone
do you guys
could be
think?
damned.
Because
to
instead
you.
I'm covered in crude oil.
What'd you say, Sarah?
My recommendation is you should probably resolve at least one of them this session. So answering one of those 2 questions, I would recommend. You would be rolling.
We're halfway through the gold mystery at this point.
Yeah, you actually have enough clues where you could definitely roll pretty much flat on the CSS Memphis roll.
And I'm sorry, what was that one's question?
So the question you have is, how can you use the gold to get the CSS Memphis to pass on to the next world?
Keep in mind, the only clues that we have for that we can still use are secret tunnel filled with crude oil, wagon tracks through building, and depiction of quail on gold.
Yeah. And your series of gravestones. Again, mastermind clues.
Right. Mastermind clues can be used for anything.
Yep.
Audiences just ask if they can give us a +1 for the mystery roll.
Yeah.
They have
go.
redeemed a +1, so
Thanks, Christopher.
Sure.
And if I roll the mystery roll, I can add +2.
No, you cannot. Those are for personal. Those are for personal use. But I will. Since this has never happened before, we've specified.
It's probably for the best. I would have rolled Snake Eyes, knowing my luck.
Not for a person, but for a specific roll. Sure, yeah, I'll take a +1.
Okay.
You guys have a couple rolls you could do here, so.
We could also potentially try to split up, and part of us try to handle things with the date. We could try to answer both questions, and like try to resolve stuff with the Daisy Man partially, and also try to resolve things with the.
What I will remind you.
We did that in our podcast arc. No spoilers, but go listen to it. We answered 2 questions at once. One of them worked out. One of them didn't.
That's true.
So
you could go for both.
Because I have a thought for the gold and the ship as well.
Okay. So kind of clarification. So I'm coming into town. Gertie is at Declan's still.
We'll pick up with everybody back in town.
Cool.
Feasibly, there's no reason why we couldn't all meet up.
What is your idea for the ship? Because I don't mind trying to answer that question.
Essentially, either by getting on the water ourselves in a vessel, or by like riding or something next to the river near the ghost ship. Essentially, just make a big spectacle of like, hey, we've got this gold, and like try to lure the ship away.
See, I was thinking so we can incorporate the mastermind clue we still have on the table. Some sort of ritual with the gold in the cemetery.
That's not a bad idea either.
Could we do both?
I like that.
Both of those.
Did we decide whether the gold was being stolen from the ship or was going to the ship?
So all that we determined last time was that
we know one of the ghosts buried a bag in the floorboards of the feed store. So to me, that sounds like it was stolen from the ship. Now, the
So
direction of the wagon, David purposefully didn't tell us which direction it was going.
Yeah. So
So
this it could have been a return operation or it could have been a steal operation. Doesn't matter.
I think what I have.
But we do have enough. Like, I don't know if we specified in our first answer
Mhm.
to that question, because it was more
I
about
like
where is
Dixon's
the gold
answer.
now? Yeah, melt the gold down, make it into a cannonball, and fire the ghost ship to sink it.
So
Golden
what I have in
cannonball is a
my
hell of a thing.
I have in my notes,
Mhm.
and totally correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just gonna read what I have. I think we had one and then we changed it.
Yeah.
Something about a smuggling operation out of the church. Poppy D was in on the operation. He had the gold and was
Poppy
killed.
Diaz.
Bloody Prince took gold. Tools taken through the tunnels.
Hmm.
Gold from boat to wagon to store to tunnel. Confederate bringing to ship via wagon. Fight old Scarge Bros. Took gold. Hidden map at church. In the wheel, I believe.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
Stag
Oh,
Bro was
yeah.
killed. Sea Skag.
Mhm. Mhm.
Wanted map. Golden Church
Mhm.
hidden by oldest Skag.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then Blueprints, Tools, Misunderstanding, Dog 1 and 2.
Yeah. So that was what we did in the end, that last one.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
was thinking.
But
Okay.
so the gold clearly originally came from Mexico somewhere. It was stolen. And was destined to support the Confederate war effort, but was ultimately ferreted away, and then the people involved were killed before it could be collected. So, what do you do about this ship? What's the plan? How can we use our clues that remain to conduct some sort of quieting ritual? To I don't know, take out the ship, as as Dixon suggested. There's like any number of options here. It's really up to you all what you want to do.
I kind of
I
like.
do really like the idea of a quieting ritual.
I
I like
say
kind of.
we each steal a piece of the gold and turn into undead skeletons and then go try and fight Jack Sparrow.
I want to smash Pat and Emma's ideas together. Like I kind of
Yeah.
like this idea of maybe half of us going and doing something with the gold at the river, and then the other half going to the cemetery and doing some sort of ritual. Because okay,
That was like the
I
most
forget.
like erudite middle finger, just
I
like
know. I also was just like, ooh, Twitch. Don't remember. I can do it on my podcast, but nobody sees the video. Um, what religion was it that puts gold on the eyes for payment for the ferryman?
That's a Greek
Is it
that's
practice.
That's Greek
okay? So not
mythology.
Aztec.
It probably is beyond that, but yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I was thinking
Lots
somehow
of
you can use the gold at the river, and then other parts of the gold at the cemetery, like putting gold on eyes or something.
I have a question from a non-American about an American thing.
Mhm.
Did the
yeah.
Confederate soldiers have a anthem or a piece of music?
Yeah.
Yes.
Could
Dixie.
we
Yeah.
play that and hold a service or something out on the water to put them to rest?
Good idea.
How
What?
much do we want to put this ship to rest? Do we want to put this ship to rest enough to whistle Dixie about it?
Is that the song? Okay.
It's incredibly racist.
It is. It's very racist.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I do like the idea of, in one way or another, trying to lure the Confederates like off the water, um, and like basically lure the ghosts into a quieting ritual of some sort.
Into a circle or something.
Mm-hmm.
You could do a giant circle on the water with like rope or something. Or we
Gertie,
could.
would you be able to take some rope and like encase it in salt somehow? Like maybe rope, salt, and then like
Wouldn't the
I don't
salt
know,
wash
Salt
off
burlap or
in the water?
taffy?
something.
Saltwater taffy, maybe?
That's interesting.
So it does
Because
sound
that'll
like we're
take a
gonna
while to
answer.
dissolve, right?
Probably.
So it sounds like we're gonna answer the first question, the
Yes.
rebel gold. So we
I
have
think
to
that's a good idea.
include the wagon tracks, coins of the Aztec, and the secret tunnel, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we would like to include the mastermind clue, but don't have to.
Yes.
Okay, and that's so the question is, how do we use the gold to end
Yeah.
the
Yeah, your
Wagon
question
tracks.
is, how can you use the gold to get the CSS Memphis to pass on to the next world?
Put it
Okay.
in the center of the saltwater taffy rope. And then fish it out once they're gone. And then you can give it to Papi Diaz's son.
Ooh,
To...
can I?
Could we use a wagon? I'm trying to figure out. Do we need to do we need to have the clues be part of our answer?
I would say that they need to justify your approach. And that can be like cementing what happened so that then it makes sense how your quieting will be effective, or that can be it's flexible.
Okay. If we go for the angle of ghosts around because unfinished business,
Mhm.
which is what this feels like,
Mhm.
then it shouldn't really matter. Like we don't have to like give it to the Confederate ghosts in order to
Absolutely
make them
not.
go away. We just need to show them that that is the like this is the end of their quest. That like failing is an option here for them.
So here's my pitch as far as that's concerned. You can integrate this, or you don't have to. You could leverage the clues to explain that specifically the narrative is that the gold was being ferried away from them. That they had it at some point, it was stolen from them, and this contingent that stole it then lost it because they got into a conflict and died, right? Because they're being chased by the rurales. So that explains kind of what happened. The lingering attachment you could argue that this ship has is that for these ghost Confederates, the war never ended. They are still on the quest for the gold that would allow the Confederacy to continue the war, right? So you could, in some way, show the Confederates that the war is over, that they've lost, and that no amount of gold will fix that. You could, like, returning the gold could essentially like reset things to before they had it to begin with, and that could maybe disattach them. Basically, you can do something to resolve that core reason, which is like they are back because they believe, like, because this gold was stolen from them as well. They had stolen it from someone else first, but that's neither here nor there. But like that was going to restore what they were trying to do, and so either prove to them that it can't be restored, or that essentially, like, when you remove the ability for them to possess it, then that also would end the situation, right? So those are kind of
Okay.
my two angles if you want to approach either of those ways.
Are we wanting to do some sort of like ritual or reenactment? Because one thing I thought is like if we start from the secret tunnel, like with the coins, and walk the way that
Oh.
maybe the gold got here back to the ocean, because then that would we could maybe include the secret tunnel. Well, we could include all the clues there.
Yeah.
I like
So
that.
like
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
if
just
the
make
if
coins
you
with
Cyrus
the
walk the path with the gold.
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I'm
if you view
already
the
covered in
clues,
oil.
yeah, if you view
Yeah.
the clues as like the story of the gold, like starting in Mexico,
Tunnel.
You
from this
know,
Aztec source and being moved
honestly,
slowly forward.
giving Cyrus the gold to walk the path actually is not an insane idea. I do have the insignificant condition which means that you guys could easily distract any type of
Yeah.
any
If there
type
are
of struggle, and I'll just be ignored.
Yeah, if there is any other hunter option that can be gone for, if there's any other member of the Vigilance Committee present, unless there's like direct reason for Cyrus to be pursued, he just, because he's insignificant, they don't go after him. That's like a rule.
That's fair. Okay.
So we'd be walking the path opposite of how it came to the church. We'd be like from the church to the water.
Like we're
Finish
going
the
back in
path
time
that
with
was
it.
meant to go.
And then do we dump the coins in the water?
So here's my thing for you. Get it back to Mexico. If you can get it
Yeah.
across the river, then
Hmm.
you've returned it from where it came, and that's like essentially
What if
that would like start
So
things
What
for
if
the
we
ship.
contacted the rurales and had us
Yeah.
had them meet us there?
Yeah. And then they can go to Mexico with it.
Well, what I'll say is, I think you all, because it's cinematic and fun, I think you have to cross, like Cyrus, if you're the one who is bearing the gold, returning it, you have to cross the Rio. You have to cross the river.
I got to go to Mexico.
You got to go to
can use Salt
Mexico.
Lake. You can borrow my mule.
You can get the real sugar Coca-Cola while you're over there.
There
And
you go.
I will
Get
say,
that
you
Mexican
could do that
Coke.
by boat. You could also, there is a rail bridge that crosses the river. Now that we're in the El Paso, where the railway has come to town, we're post where the story normally starts. So you could cross the rail bridge. I will warn you, and this is true to historical documents that I've read around this to prep for the game. Because they didn't want people crossing the rail bridge on foot. There's all sorts of like stuff on it to make it difficult for pedestrians to cross. There's like spikes that are built into it and stuff. So it will be a treacherous journey, a treacherous, slow path for you to try to take the bridge, but you don't have to be on a boat that way. It's up to you.
I
Wait,
also wonder if we should. I would feel more comfortable not sending Cyrus alone if we can manage it.
Anybody with me is going to put more eyes on me is the problem.
I think we'd be like, when you when there's a ransom and you send the person who needs to like bring the money, but then there's like
Yeah.
Secret Service.
Yeah, they're just
Imagine
watching
Okay.
at a distance.
Yeah.
Here's what we'll do. I have that doll, which I think
Ah,
previously I'd said I was gonna give to.
No, go ahead, Emma. Go ahead. Give me a doll.
I can see through its eyes, so that would like give us a way to know if there's any trouble, so that we can at least like plan around that. And also, it is very funny that means that I am giving Pat a doll, which like is the irony of the age. I didn't make it a doll, man. It's not my fault. That's your wife that you gotta talk to.
That was before we even knew that. Yeah, I just came out with it, and then you're like, "I'm scared," and I was like, too bad."
It's fine. It's fine.
Just don't look at it.
You could also pass. Sorry, I'm just looking at everybody's inventory. I guess, including the doll. You could also use Felicity's like choir robes. Because maybe
Yeah,
people.
I was looking at that too.
I don't know if in the West they
Oh,
would not bother.
Speaking of inventory,
Yeah.
my what's it called? My horseless contraption.
Carriage.
Yeah.
Could I
Oh,
make
yeah.
it capable of traveling on water, or even on the rail
Absolutely.
tracks, or on
Yeah.
the rail tracks?
Yeah.
Either or, dealer's choice. I love that.
Okay,
That's
I gave it
a
a
good
name.
workaround. That's a good workaround. My one issue with it is, are you saying that Cyrus is going to do it to deliver the gold to Mexico? Because something tells me that's not inconspicuous.
No, I like Gertie the ferryman. That's fun.
You're gonna get seasick.
I'm sure I will.
Well, we don't necessarily need to have you be inconspicuous getting across the river. We just have to get you across the river and then have you be inconspicuous. So we could
'Cause
essentially use the contraption to distract the ship. Gertie could ferry you across. You could take off. We could distract, like we could try to pull the ship's attention another direction. Get there, like if they even noticed you to begin with.
I mean,
And then
are we going with the idea that we're meeting the Roales on the other side? 'Cause I like that.
I like that.
because if that's the case, then Gertie should be there regardless because she's our
Yeah.
main contact in there
Contact.
anyway.
Mhm.
Oh, it's like a little not honeymoon, but first travel together.
Aww. Day trip, night trip.
Night
my God,
trip.
it's the
Yeah.
first
Yeah,
time
it's
as a
happening at
married
night, isn't
couple
it?
ever
Then
Great.
I like this plan. I think we've set it up. Let's talk
Mhm.
roll.
Let's
So I
put
think we've
Gertie and
used.
Cyrus on a slow boat to Mexico.
It's not slow.
I now have an image of Cyrus just tied to the mast, complaining the whole way
Well,
across the river.
I just want to read out the move that it is because it
Yeah,
says
go
it's
for it.
horseless. You've developed a fantastical means of rapid travel. Describe it and give it an appropriate, grandiose name. You are no longer affected by any conditions that would normally limit your mobility, or trap you in a location. You'll always have advantage on any move involving a race against an opponent or the clock. You may travel freely between locations at a speed roughly equal to a strong horse at full gallop. Other hunters may travel with you, but they always mark an appropriate condition at the end of the journey reflecting its unorthodox nature.
Right.
This is good.
Love that
This
for
is
And
me.
I've called it the spirit powered ambulatory carriage.
I love
SPAC for
that.
short.
Heck yeah. I was just figuring out an acronym for it.
Okay.
spec.
I
SPAC.
like this.
So let's tick off our clues. So we're ticking off the symbol of Shibe Totek on the gold because the gold came from there. It's kind of like working our way forwards.
Check.
From there, it was taken. It crossed the river and then was taken on wagon. Well, across the river because it made it onto the ship. It was stolen from the ship, and then the fresh wagon tracks disappear through a building because that was just the path, right?
We're
There's
gonna
a
start
secret
the
tunnel.
journey through the secret tunnel.
Yep. And there's a secret tunnel with a shallow river of oil, and that's where it passed through before it was then finally buried at the church. So that's our path. I think in this theory now, we probably aren't using the mastermind clue, so that would put us at a -1 on the roll. But Christopher gave a +1 to this roll specifically.
So
So
we're rolling flat.
it'd be a flat roll for whoever wants to give us it.
I'll do it.
Probably either Sero or Pat, since they're going to be heading this mission.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's
Should
your
I do it?
it's
Fuck
your
that, me too.
horseless contraption. You got
Yeah,
it.
I think so.
So it's just
Do
a
it,
straight
Gertie.
flat roll, right?
Straight flat roll.
Oh, 6 and a 5.
Hey.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
That's an 11.
That's great.
Well,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
when answering a question on a 10 plus, the answer is correct and the opportunity can be pursued. No additional complications, costs, or anything like that. Perfect.
Hey, that's lovely.
Yeah. So it sounds like, as far as pursuing that is concerned, the plan is for Cyrus to carry the bag of money, starting from the church through the tunnel, and then crossing through town, going across the river with Gertie, and then ultimately delivering it to the Rurales south of the border. What is the plan for our other two? For Casey and Felicity, is your plan to distract the ship or pursue something else during the night phase? We could still answer the Daisy Man question if we wanted to.
Stake out in
and-
the vault.
or you could take action on that. Like, again, you don't have to have answered the question to still do things relating to the Daisy Man. So
It was just earlier today. I got covered in oil. I say we take a second and gather some more information, maybe, if that's
instead of staking out at the bank.
Oh well, I was thinking stake out at the bank to get more information. Hopefully.
Okay. More information is fine.
I like stake at the
I mean,
bank.
we
I think
could try
that could be
to
really fun.
answer the question, but I think that we could also probably. Okay.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
rather more clues.
Do
Sorry,
you
when you said
guys-
that you're still covered in oil, I was like, so you wanted to take some downtime? Like,
No, I was just like, I only got covered in oil earlier today, which was my way of basically thinking to myself it was only today that this threat was introduced.
mhm.
And you guys have some of my ghost capturing jars, right?
Yes.
Still excellent,
Yes.
because
Yes.
as you may have realized, I use spirits to power a lot of my creations. I'm trying to make it so that I have a spirit fueled. That's my big project, using spirits to fuel all the things
Mhm.
Yes.
All
as
the
a
things.
Which also
renewable
means
resource, as renewable
you're
fuel
using them
source.
to power the it's renewable. I guess that's true. Feels weird to say, but it is true.
Yep.
As
So
long as
then,
people keep dying, you'll have energy.
I think this is our night phase. I think the two of you. So Cyrus is going
Oh,
to
I
be
forgot
solo
we were
until
going to
the
be
river, right?
crossing the river at night. That
Yeah.
puts
Yeah.
extra
Forgot.
damage on it.
Yeah, I think
Oh, that's fine. You rolled an 11. You're okay.
so.
Yeah.
Then, yeah. Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'm going to give you as far as the night phase, as far as structure. Cyrus, you're going to start at the church, try to walk the gold back. You know the path. We'll talk to that when we get there. Sero, for Gertie, you're gonna have to go and grab your horseless carriage and get it set up down by the river.
Yep.
It can't follow the path exactly the way that Cyrus needs to over
Yeah.
land, so you're gonna get it set up to do that part of the journey. So we'll deal with that. And then for Casey and for Felicity, the two of you are going to be set up. I'm assuming we're just going to start you in the vault of the bank where you're supposed to hang out, or like just outside, or something along those lines. Does that sound right
Yeah.
for your stakeout?
Um,
Or you could be like across the street or something. I'll let you kind of start wherever you want to relating to that. Just get something in your heads.
yeah.
And then a question for all of you before we enter the night phase. I've got two options of what we can do as far as the unseen. One is more serious, one is a little bit more comical. Which would you prefer as our parody scene through the night?
Comico.
Okay. We have a comical from
I'm more of
Sero.
a serious kid.
We could roll die and like flip of a coin.
I am indifferent.
All right. Emma rolls herself a die. If it's an odd, we'll do the first one, and if it's an even, we'll do the second one.
So odd, more serious, even, more comical.
Yeah.
Even more comical.
I rolled a 6.
All right.
Woohoo!
Comical
Comical
it
time.
is.
Then
I
I
hope
will
that I
throw
won't
this.
regret using that 6 roll.
Yeah.
I will go ahead and drop this in our chat so you all can see it.
Oh.
Normally, so the title of this unseen, I'm going to introduce it here. Normally, this would be for the Crown Point Hotel in San Antonio, but I think since we're spending so much time with the hotel here in El Paso, I think we'll do it around that one instead. So we'll introduce this NPC around that. Pat, what was the name of the hotel that you're staying at?
Grand Maximilian.
Grand Maximilian. So then here is the description for tonight's unseen. Francis works the night shift on the front desk of the Grand Maximilian Hotel in El Paso. He checks guests in, answers general questions about El Paso, and keeps the front foyer tidy. And then we're going to have a series of questions. I'm going to assign them out. Let's just do the order I see people on here. So Sero, you're going to be our first paint the scene. Our second paint the scene is going to be Pat. Our third paint the scene is going to be Miah. And our fourth paint the scene is going to be Emma.
Okay.
And anywhere it says San Antonio, think El Paso. Anywhere it says the Crown Point Hotel, think the Grand Maximilian. I think that's just in the intro bit anyway. And Francis is our character we're going to follow during the unseen.
Okay.
But with that, yeah.
So the front foyer has blue and gold striped wallpaper and two sitting areas, and I'm supposed to describe the immaculate furniture and items on display that Francis has little respect for.
That's
Okay,
correct.
so
Are we
they
doing that right now?
it's
Yeah,
all
night
furniture
phase
that's
starts
been
at the first
shipped in.
unseen, so yeah.
It's all furniture that's been shipped in from the from Britain or from England. Very old and pretentious and antique and wooden and uncomfortable. And all of the little doodads and the things are like vases and um things in interesting poses that look really vague, but if you have any imagination, are lewd as fuck. Um, and he's also made his own one that he's just taken one home with him and replaced it with one he's made as well. And he's done this over a long enough period that all the lewd as fuck ones are actually ones he's made and replaced the originals with, and no one has noticed.
He's done this multiple times and has slowly made them more and more lewd as time has gone
Yes,
on.
yes. And at some point, he plans to leave and sell those things that he has swapped.
Nice.
Love that.
When you have a seat in the foyer, you feel strangely aroused in a way that you didn't expect when arriving at the hotel. Excellent.
Yes.
So we cut from this kind of panning view of the foyer of the Grand Maximilian, which we passed through sort of idly as we followed the hunters previously. But we're going to pick up. I think it makes sense to start in near the just off the center of town, behind the old Methodist church, which is looking in better repair than it has in years.
Mhm.
They've dismantled the top spire and taken off a bunch of the cladding, but like a whole third of the exterior has been successfully rebuilt here in the first day of work. There's piles of lumber sitting outside next to the church as it's being worked on. Although here at night, of course, work has fallen off for the day. And Cyrus, you find yourself alone here in an alleyway, a bag heavy, laden with gold, slung over your shoulder, standing around you, or standing here with around you a series of crates and boxes and barrels and long planks of wood, all here in stacks. There's like boxes of nails, tins of pitch and paint. The smell is kind of horrendous, but also like woodsy. So all that fresh lumber. Uh, oh no, Pat in the chat. I have an idea for my unseen. You're not gonna like it. Well, thankfully we're not there yet. We'll get there soon. Um, so Cyrus, here you are. You hear the crickets chirping softly. This is a rather, I mean, every night of the Wounded Night, I think, is a full moon. I think that's just how it works. Like weird and strange as that might be, the moon is there like a bullet hole in the sky, red tinge
That
low on
sounds
the
full to
horizon.
me.
Yeah, you see it just hovering. You see like a corner of it above a building across the street here by the Methodist church where you are currently. What's kind of your approach? You know that you have to like go here from the graveyard into the church, which has like the entrance to the tunnel. Um, do you do anything to prepare before you go? Do you bring any light in with you? The church, I doubt, is locked, but there may still be people wandering about. What's your plan? What's your approach?
So Cyrus has uh, the chest of gold roped to his back like a backpack. And much like my own backpack, all of my school years, it's heavy and way overstuffed. So he's slightly like leaning forward the whole time that he's walking because he's off balance from the gold. And I think Cyrus is doing as Cyrus does, muttering to himself about the ridiculousness of what he has to do. Oh my gosh, I got to go back in that oil again. Come on, geez, haven't we gone through this already?
Yeah, as you're talking to yourself, kind of psyching yourself up to carry on with this journey, From one of the barrels in this alleyway next to you, you hear something. You hear a psst, hey, 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 psst, hey, 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 kiddo, hey, psst, hey.
Oh no, not you again.
No, come on, it's all right. Come on, over here, over. It's a barrel. You can see it there. It's right there in the light. You see it?
Yeah, I see the barrel.
Oh, come on, over the barrel. Come, psst, 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 come on.
All right, I'm coming. Jeez, calm down.
Yeah, you wander over the alleyway towards one of these barrels, and the cap of it is off. It's there sitting by the side. You can see inside, and even with the what limited moonlight you have, the inside of this barrel is like pitch unnatural darkness, like the clingy type that you can't really see through at all. And floating on the surface of it, almost like it's like buoyantly floating there, is the face of the specter you see, that of Texas Tom, this perfect chiseled features, this glorious multi-gallon hat extending off like it's almost like a visual optical illusion where you turn your head to the side and the hat seems like it's extending off into the darkness, but you look and like there's the edge of the barrel there, so it has to physically stop. But you see this face floating there, and those perfect almost like waxen chiseled features are bloated a bit, veins bulging, almost like a body dead in the water, staring up, not really at you, but past you. And as your gaze meets their face, they like crack a kind of smile floating there, and it's like, "Oh, good, you're here.
Yeah,
I've got,
I'm here. What
I've got,
do you want?
I've got news for you.
News? News is never good.
Papa's coming.
Papa's coming?
Papa's coming."
He can come all he want. Isn't he dead? I'm with Gertie now.
And he's like staring off in the distance, and he like blinks his eyes, and the way that he does so is slow and like slightly out of sync, a kind of visually uncomfortable behavior.
Like how Pixar characters blinked when they first started making movies.
Sure, he blinks like a Pixar character from Toy Story.
You don't remember they like blinked like one eye at a time? Like that?
That's certainly the behavior I'm describing here. Sure. He blinks up and he's just staring past you and says, "You need to be ready. You haven't even been thinking about it.
Thinking about what?
Papa's coming and he's here to collect."
I told you, Poppy Diaz has been dead. We know that already.
And the eyes finally swivel and like focus and meet yours and says, "You best get to work." And then the face kind of slicks down into the barrel and fades into the darkness.
Truly unhelpful. Thank you.
All right. And then he's gonna like take a half turn like away from the barrel, and he has like 1 foot in the air about to step forward to go back to what he's doing, and he turns back around to the barrel and goes, "Wait a minute, Papa, not Poppy, my father's on his way." Cut to black to whatever the next thing is.
Yeah, we cut from there to the. Actually, we cut from there. Like our camera zooms out, scrolls around, moves down the street to the central bank of El Paso. Describe for me briefly, Casey, Felicity, where have you decided to hold up for your stakeout? Are you like, did you convince them to put you in the vault? Are you outside of it, inside the building? Are you like outside the building, looking at it from across the street? Like, what's your approach? What's your plan?
Oh, we gotta be inside the vault because, like, we know this guy can go through walls. So the only way we're gonna get any info is if we're, like, there, I think.
What do you think about if the vault door is open? And I'm imagining like you sitting inside and me like outside of it, like looking and kind of like scouting out and just like trying to just pay attention to when and if he comes. And then you're just
I like that.
feel like you're trying to make conversation or whatever.
So laying out the picture in my head, I'm imagining the vault has one of those huge swinging, metal doors.
Mhm.
It's
And
a vault door. It's the
you
one.
actually
You know the one.
you've convinced the bank to let you like have it open for the night.
Mhm. This is serious. We've got to protect the bank, and the only way that we are the Vigilance Committee. This is what we're here for.
I'm trying to decide if we need to have the scene of you hashing that out with the bank teller or not, because
I can make a presence roll.
you know what? Yeah, let's do a roll and we'll see if we need to have this scene. Give me a roll with presence.
Okay.
So specifically, this is going to be a we'll say that you established this during the day phase. Still, I don't think this needs to be a night move. What are you worried is going to happen if you fail?
I am worried that they won't let us in, that they won't let us do what we're trying to do. And thanks, Christopher. And that they will probably try to kick us out as well.
Because this is a hell of a thing to convince
You'll
the
have
bank
to
to do for
break
the
in
evening.
yourselves.
So yeah, give me your presence roll then. You are,
All
by
right.
the way, when you go to convince them of this, you are covered in crude oil, so do take disadvantage on this roll.
And I'm covered in probably blood. Not my own, for the most part.
I will take disadvantage. You know what, though? I'm gonna use my damned if I do.
Oh yeah?
I think. Well, we'll see. I'm gonna roll, and we'll see. We'll see how we do. I also have a reroll. I also have a +1. So.
Okay.
And I guess I have a +1 and a +1.
Yeah. Well, the first +1, like you need to use one of those now because you can't just save them. So like you have to use that. It's for your next roll. So this is your roll.
I dropped one of my dice. I have to reroll it.
Yeah, reroll that one.
Okay. That's unfortunate. I mean, that's great, but that's unfortunate. Well, it would be a 10, except it's not. It's a 5.
Does that
I'm
include your
going to
+1?
re-roll.
Okay, go for it.
That does not include my +1.
Well, it would have been a 6, which is still a miss. So
Yeah. Hey, that's a lot better. That's an 8. +1 is 9.
okay.
Yeah. So that's a full success.
Or
Or 9 is at the top of the complicated.
Yeah, 9 is
Okay.
a mixed. 7 to 9 is a success, but complicated.
Okay.
So, okay. Then and again, you can always put a mask on this, but I'll describe it first. I think after a lengthy conversation with them, I think the agreement you come to is that one of you can be inside the vault, the other of you can be outside of it, but the vault door cannot be open overnight. That's like people's money is in there. That's just like leaving it open for brigands to come and overpower you and steal it. Basically, somebody can be sealed into the vault for the night. There should be enough air for the evening. Also, is the vault probably like completely airtight? I don't know. That's pretty high tolerances. Maybe not. But yeah, that's like the compromise they would offer you. If you really want to get anything past that, you would have to spend masks over to increase.
Did you decide to give Cyrus your doll? Wait, or no? Is it Cyrus's doll?
No, it's my doll. I think we decided to send Gertie with him instead.
Yeah.
So we could potentially, I mean, we could potentially put the doll in the vault.
Yeah. It hasn't been introduced in the narrative yet, so if you want to work that differently as far as how you set up for the night, that's fine.
Yeah, because we could put the doll, inside, as well as I also have a couple of ghost traps from Gertie, so I could put a ghost trap inside and then around the bank.
Yeah, and then we can stake out wherever we want. I can keep an eye on that, and we can take action if we need to.
Yeah.
That seems like a reasonable plan. It's really nice to have a camera. Thanks, Gertie.
You're welcome.
What's
I
a
want to also
camera?
point out that probably the doll is powered by a speaker as well. So inside the
Yes.
doll somewhere is a little device with a little.
Oh, it's
Little
definitely a
spirit in
haunted
there.
doll for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Not in
Absolutely.
the usual sense though, but yeah.
Then we'll come back to the scene, but first let's cycle back over to our next unseen. So for unseen number 2, this is going to be Pat's. A rude late night arrival does not look like the higher than normal. Does not like the higher than normal room rates. What uncouth remark does Francis make to the customer that ultimately causes the customer to leave?
Can I ask a really quick question before we do that?
Sure.
I guess it probably won't be that quick. We're having this discussion
Mhm.
in the chat. We want to revisit the vulnerable move and how that works.
Yeah. Vulnerable move is something you normally have access to during the day, although you could actually, if you two are going to like have a scene conversation here during the night, I could definitely see vulnerable move coming out. It's just normally, if you're like looking for it, normally you get it during the day.
Okay, we can talk about it later.
Yeah.
We can talk about it when that comes around. But anyway.
Pat, give me your unseen. We're over here in the Grand Maximilian Hotel. We're hanging out with Francis. Somebody came in who doesn't like the rates. What does Francis do to tell him off and makes him go away?
So there's Francis sitting with his, I imagine he's a younger man, sitting with his feet up on the desk, thinking it's going to be a normal, average, regular night, you know? And in rushes this man. He's got a nice white cowboy hat on. He's got a tanned vest on. He's got a thick, curly mustache. And he's got an empty revolver holster. And he rushes up to the table. Goes, I need a room for the night right now. And Francis looks at him and says something to the effect of, well, you know, you're going to have to pay the rate. He goes, fine, what's the rate? And Francis goes, that's going to cost you 15 gold. Or $15. $15.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Buy the room. Forever.
Well, it's a fancy hotel based off the description.
Mm-hmm.
And the stranger goes, $15? I can build a whole house for $15. And Francis is gonna look him up and down and go, don't I recognize you from somewhere? And the stranger is gonna think for a second, think real carefully about his next words, and goes, I'm trying to better myself. And Francis is gonna go, I need you to get off of my hotel's premises right now. And the stranger drops his head, turns around, and walks out somberly. And may throw and will, as the doors swing closed behind him, say, I wonder if Uncle will let me back in the house.
David, you're on mute.
muted.
Oh, this is the alternate timeline where your uncle isn't dead. That's fun. Or Marshall's.
Yeah. Oh no, he's not dead yet.
Oh, this is the Wounded Knight.
This is the Wounded Knight.
Oh. Sad.
I told you. I had an idea, and you weren't gonna like it.
You're right. This just makes me sad. Anyone who's confused, listen to the Ghost of El Paso game on Trials of the Apocalypse. That's Patrick's Marshall characters from.
Not Papa James then.
No.
Not Papa James.
So Francis tells off the marshal. Marshal leaves. Well, he's not the marshal yet. Not in this time.
Nope.
Jefferson Stockley walks out, and Francis goes back, kicks his heels up, and the night moves on. We'll pick up with that scene between Casey and Felicity. So the two of you set up the haunted doll inside the vault, some ghost traps. You're in the lobby there outside of it. You can see the vault behind the teller's desk. This building is closed for the evening. There are no candles lit. There are no lights of any kind, save for the moonlight streaming in through the window and any you might have brought with yourselves.
Is Emma
how do you-
frozen for anyone else?
She's frozen for me. She
Mm.
froze on stream. I was just figuring she'd
Yep.
come back probably.
Yep, I can refresh.
Fingers crossed this doesn't fuck everything up.
Hello,
She moves.
am I back?
But
She
she's
moves.
muted.
Oh, I can't see her at all now.
Oh, just check your audio settings, maybe.
Does she speak?
I speak.
No. Do we all need to refresh again?
We're all gonna refresh. I'm gonna do it next.
God, we're all gonna refresh. Okay.
Love you guys.
Hey,
Hey,
group refresh.
can you
Twitch
hear
is
me?
a
Can you see
Twitch
me?
is. I can see you and hear you just fine now. Twitch is a perfect and unbroken system. There's nothing about it that they need to fix. It just works all of the time.
I told you they've done an update. Speak
I can
again,
hear.
Pat.
Yep. I think we're good now.
Patty, say something.
Something.
Perfect.
Miah, say something.
Something.
Okay.
Perfect.
Looks like it works.
Hey, chat, can you hear us? Let us know, and we'll carry on.
Chat, say
Aw.
something. Oh no.
Well, there's a lag, so it'll take them a
Yeah,
moment to respond.
Something. Okay, cool.
We're good.
Sweet as. Wonderful.
Thanks. Okay.
So,
Felicity
how did
lights a match and puts it in her mouth.
Fair enough.
Just light a match? Not even
Not
Yeah,
paid
that's your-
attention to that before.
That's your quirk. You don't remember?
Yeah,
No,
she
I
did that
don't.
first episode.
I don't smoke. I just light the match and put it in my mouth.
No,
Technically,
smoking's a
no.
dirty habit.
Yeah, the flame slowly moves closer to your lips, the light flashing and illuminating your face. You smell the faint smoke in the air. Although, Casey, earlier tonight you had a lot more smoke in your nostrils, as you remember the smell of your gunpowder burning as you put more than one hole through a trained man from a far off land. Do you have the katana with you, or is that like strapped to the mule outside?
No, it's on my back.
Okay, cool.
Gun in my hand. Well, rifle in my hand, guns at my side.
Yeah, how do
Knife
the
in
two
my
of you
boot.
purport yourselves here? What's the scene? Give it to me. I think we'll give you a moment of reprieve here before anything happens.
Yeah, talk to us about how the vulnerable move works and what we can do with that.
Yeah, so this is our first time using this move in the game, so I will read off the description of it real quick. So the vulnerable move, when you have an intimate moment with another hunter while one of you is engaged in your vice, you may clear an appropriate condition. And if it's your vice, you can also either stumble on a clue, or like you get to choose what it is, or you can invite the other hunter to ask you about your past, but you must answer truthfully and not necessarily completely. So basically, you can, it's a way to either flesh out your backstory or find clues and stuff, as well as like clear
Okay.
conditions. Yeah. So really,
So,
the vulnerable move is very, very general. You can just kind of, if you have a nice soft moment, you get to clear conditions. That's kind of how it works.
So Casey has a move that is suffer alone,
Yes.
Yeah.
which
I
means
may
that you
not.
can't trigger the vulnerable move with anybody.
They
Yeah,
can't
'cause-
request a scene with another player. Another player can trigger a vulnerable move with them.
And my thing specifically says that I can only trigger a vulnerable move with the person who is indebted to me.
Yes. So you are the
It's you and
only
me,
way.
Casey.
You are the only pair that can clear conditions for either of you.
We're gonna get real close.
I mean,
So
I guess
then-
I could do it with the other two, but
Everyone's going to be married by the end of this.
Yo. So either Casey, you need to be engaged in your vice during this scene, or Felicity, you need to be engaged in yours. But yeah, frame this up for me. What's this chat that the two of you have? What's the scene here?
Remind me what your vice is.
prayer.
Oh, that's right. Okay. That's fun.
Yeah. Did we ever figure out, like, I'm indebted to you, but did we ever figure out the terms and conditions? The fine print?
I think it's a revolver for a favor, I think was what we went with.
Or was it the compass?
I thought it was the compass.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be
I just
able
love
to...
the idea of a golden gun, so that's stuck around in my head.
Yeah, well, I have a couple of guns.
I'm unsurprised.
Dixon.
What?
Uh,
Jesus.
Yep.
I got 1
Okay.
+ 1, 3 -1s, and 1 reroll.
I've got a reroll
so I think
and 2 +1s, I believe.
Looks like you. Yeah.
I think so.
Oh, God.
Yep. Yeah, I do.
So
Neat.
I think we start pretty quiet. I put one match in my mouth and then realize how stupid that is because I'm covered in crude oil. So I don't do that again.
Are you sure you want to do that?
And you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, you know what? I think that I straight up just take off my dress and like start cleaning it, and I'm just like hanging out in my druthers with you.
Neat.
The bank people are going to be ecstatic to find the raw oil on the ground here later.
It's kind of gold, right?
Yeah.
First, we want them to leave the vault open. Now we leave very flammable materials in the bank.
In this wooden building.
I'm cleaning it. Tries to. That'd be nice.
Casey, almost similarly to Felicity, is going to be cleaning her guns. So I think sitting in a chair, but feet kicked up on a counter, chair leaned back, me cleaning parts of my guns.
New sword?
Yeah, I got it off some bounty hunter that had a bounty out on me. New outfit?
Apparently.
How'd that happen?
I fell in a hole and I came back out a different color. Well, the dress did. I've gotten it mostly off my skin now. How many bounty hunters is that at this point?
It gets hard to tell as the days and numbers pass. This one was different. I mean, some sort of samurai. Not even wielding a gun. You know,
Old.
brought a sword to a gunfight.
That wouldn't be my recommendation.
Why did you come to town?
You know, the funny thing about freedom is that you never really have it. Even when you have all the trappings of it, somehow, some way, it's always somebody else who's making you do what you want to do. What you have
Is the devil making you do what he wants you to do?
That is pretty much his entire job. Trying to get people to do different things to expose their deepest, darkest parts.
It's funny that the woman that offers freedoms isn't actually free herself.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, the devil isn't much free himself either, from what I understand. I don't have a whole grasp of the cosmology. He's been pretty tight-lipped about the whole thing, but seems like it's a job and it has its own drawbacks as well as its own perks.
So you didn't come to town to get me to pay up.
Oh, for you. I mean, the fact that you're here is a nice addition.
Nice. I don't know if I would say nice.
I don't know. Seems like we've had a good enough time so far.
Yes, interacting with you with the potential of taking away my soul until I meet my goal. Not exactly the definition of nice in the dictionary, I'd say.
Maybe it's been more fun for me than for you.
I'm gonna interrupt the scene in a second. So let me. One of you we need your vice present. So either Casey will have to pray in some capacity, or we need a demonstrable act of kindness from Felicity.
For your definition of prayer, how flexible is it? Because
I mean, prayer is a pretty flexible thing.
Yeah. Because part of me was thinking somehow like the ritual of me cleaning all of like my weapons might be some sort of like in some sort of sense like prayer. Although like part of me is like, okay, how is that a vice? But then I'm like, maybe it's in times when something like a big battle or fight or something is coming, I might clean it very anally. I don't know. Right?
No, you're right. It's just also yeah.
Cool. So glad that I was here. I'll see you guys later. This is fun.
I've been watching Sarah's screen for like 2 minutes, and she's looked like she's been zoned out that whole time until all of a sudden she hears the word anal, and then she snaps to life.
I've been
Did
doing
somebody say
things
anal?
behind the scene, okay? I am still here.
This is a Christian Minecraft server.
What I would say for you is I think in order to tie it into what makes that a vice for your character, I think there would have to be a religious, respectful element to it. So like not just a meticulous or a compulsory way, but like prayer here to me, like reading as a vice, is like you are somebody who has committed some grave things in your life, and while you might have solid reasons for them, you've still certainly done many a bad. And so I think like to hold on to some kind of religious fervor of any kind and to believe in that is what makes that that juxtaposition is the vice element of that, I would say. So but how you
I have an idea.
certainly be flexible. Yeah, go ahead.
I have an idea. I think that like I get into trying to clean off this dress. It's covered in crude oil. I very quickly realize that this is a losing battle. And so I just kind of throw it to the side. And then like I could either offer to help you clean your guns, or I could look at you and just be like, well, you want me to hear your confession or something? Or both.
Also, I'm not sure if Miah made it back from turning the
Oh,
camera
can you
back
not
on.
see me again?
I can't see
No,
you.
we
Nope.
can't see you.
The
Neat.
audience
Should
can
I
see
refresh?
it, can see you.
I was-
but we need
I
to
was-
refresh.
You guys aren't allowed to.
Yeah.
I
so
was
we'll refresh.
literally about to ask the same thing if she ever came back.
Yeah, refresh fixed it.
Do you want me to refresh?
No, you're good. You're good now.
Okay, cool.
We are pushing through the technical difficulties tonight.
Now I
Yep.
can't hear David.
Everyone sound off.
If you haven't yet, Emma.
Oh
Meow.
no.
I have died.
Oh no. I think I
can
have
hear
to refresh
everyone.
now.
I think.
I think I hear everyone.
Marco.
Oh,
All right, I
Marco.
think we're all good. All right, Emma, can you hear
You're
us now?
supposed to say Polo. Gosh.
Marco.
Polo.
Polo.
Double Marco.
Polo.
Marco.
Oh, I am so
Roger,
tempted to make
Dodger.
an NPC now. Marco.
Marco. He's
Marco.
Italian.
Marco.
My first victim was Marco.
Shit.
Marco.
Just a heads up, we've been given a reroll each.
Oh.
Oh.
I get 2 rerolls. Fuck yeah.
And there's also a poll in the chat if you want
I
to.
see that.
I've answered it.
Oh, rude. We've still got an hour, and technically a half because we started late.
Who voted yeehaw?
That was me. We're gonna get through what we need to tonight. I think we can.
That's very sweet.
Stop having technical issues.
No, I would say not if the
Is-
technical issues persist.
Is Felicity considered a supernatural power?
I think
No?
that she probably is.
I'm only asking because I
Yeah.
googled because like I'm stuck as fuck.
Yeah.
I googled what prayer is. Shut up, Sero.
Sarah,
And
stop.
it is a form of communication with a deity, the sacred, or supernatural powers.
Yeah. I mean, you could absolutely pray to Felicity. I love that. That's sick.
I hate that I chose
You want
this
me to hear
fight.
your confession or something?
Let's see. Is there a way that you could go to somebody else so I can figure my shit out? No. You
Here-
can say
here-
I
no.
don't think that'll be a
No.
long enough time, Miah.
I definitely can, but I already had my cutoff for the end of this.
That's very
so if no, so the short answer is no. I'm gonna make
That's
you do
fine.
something here, and then I'll
That's
cut your
totally
scene
fine.
short. Yeah.
That's totally fine. No,
Trust me, it
even
won't have to be
acceptable
very
answer.
long because I am gonna cut you off. But
What's you've had that compass for a while, and I know that you've had enough time to track down who you're looking for.
What are you really trying to ask? As I say, as I am reassembling my rifle.
What's the holdup?
Well, you know, Jesse James is a hard man to find.
I just look at you because I know that you literally have a compass that will point right to him.
Before you became a messenger of the devil, did you have a family?
I had people I was related to.
Or were they all great people?
Decidedly not.
I say the same about my father.
So many daddy issues tonight.
It's the West.
Yeah.
I don't
And it's a TTRPG.
Gertie has any daddy issues, but I haven't thought about that.
I want to face my dad and show him what he made me into. But at the same time, I don't want to face him to show him what I haven't become. I wish that I have all of the powers in the world. I have a deal with the devil, so many guns. I have a sword now, but I just lack the confidence. I have the name. I am the legend.
You even have a
And yet
donkey.
I can't even face one old cowboy. You were supposed to give me everything. That was our deal.
It sounds familiar. When I first met my benefactor, I came to him angry because, in my opinion, he had taken everything from me. And he looked me in the face and said that instead he gave me everything I needed. I guess it's my job to look at you and tell you that you already have everything you need. I didn't need to give you that part.
You hear a knocking at not from where you expect, not from the vault where you might expect some activities from your ghostly personage that you're hunting for, but instead, as you're having this conversation, you hear a knock from the front door of the bank. And it's not hurried, it's not anxious, it's just a casual rapping, dink, dink, dink.
Casey's going to get up. I'm going to nod my head to Felicity to hide or get behind something. And I will approach the door, leaning on next to the door. The bank's closed.
Well, I'm here to make a bit of a deposit.
Didn't you hear me the first time? The bank's closed. Gonna have to wait till morning, friend.
I'm not exactly patient. Felicity, you can hear you hear this voice, and your blood doesn't run cold. It thrums. Your heart beats faster. This is your boss, and he's at the door.
I think I hear his voice and I just go. And I'll come over and I'll put a hand on Casey's shoulder and just kind of push past her and sigh.
What are you doing?
I'll look at you. I'll say, if you have any other prayers you want to get out, now's the time. And I'll go ahead and open the door.
Yeah, you open the door to an empty night. You see like maybe a tumbleweed tumbling down the road, and then you both feel a hand on your shoulder and a voice whispering in your ears. You know what they say about speaking of the devil? And we're going to cut that scene there.
Good.
Let's get our next
Good.
unseen. This is going to be from Miah.
Great.
Our paint the scene question is scanning the upcoming guest reservations. Francis's eyes widen when he sees a certain name in the book. What plans for petty revenge begin to form in Francis's mind?
So the name that he sees in the guest reservations is his ex-mistress.
Ooh,
And I think that his petty revenge
The first name that
putting
popped in my head was Bambi LaRue.
Vandy.
I'm assuming they have bed bugs or something similar. I think he fills the bed with like bed bugs or something.
Where do they
He
keep
thinks
these?
about filling the bed with bed bugs.
yeah.
Like,
What
I don't
plans for
know.
petty revenge begin to
Or just
form in
put
Francis's
bugs.
mind?
Or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
maybe he can put bugs or something in the bed.
He's thinking about
Worms and
catching and depositing
mud.
some worms and bugs. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so she broke it off.
I don't know. I mean, she could be like a
Why'd
woman
you break it
around
off?
town.
I don't know. Maybe
What?
because she was with somebody
Oh.
who could put bugs and worms in her bed.
She could be a woman about town and has plans with the guy that she's moved on to, and he doesn't like it.
Excellent. Cool. We'll cut then from Francis scheming, drawing up his plans in a book he has in front of him. We'll cut from that to the barn, to where Gertie is unlocking the front of it to go in and collect what you need for your machine. Let me ask you, your horseless carriage, do you keep it in the barn? Do you have like a separate shed for it? Like, how does that work?
I think it's in the barn. The barn's pretty big, so it'll be
Yeah.
under one under that tarp that she told the deputy to be careful of. But it says that she uses it to go everywhere, and since she's on the outskirts of town, she probably uses it to get in and out of town. So they're probably used to the noise or lack of noise. It'll be like an electric powered car, I would assume, and be
Yeah.
quiet.
Disturbingly quiet, your carriage. You of course had to make some augmentations to make it seaworthy. You worked on those, but thankfully the design already kind of supported that kind of behavior. You just kind of had to build a dinghy into it to make
Yeah,
it
chitty
buoyant
chitty
enough
bang
to
bang bang.
travel. Yeah, exactly. um when you went to your shop to begin that work, everything felt normal. Nothing was out of place. You worked through the dusk into the early night, making your finishing touches that you needed to on the vehicle to get it ready and prepped for this journey. Um, Let me ask you a question. This will be like a little mini paint the scene. What other project has been sitting on the back table, uncomplete, but that you're either like stuck working on, or it's like a really ambitious thing that you're trying to accomplish? Give me like something briefcaseable, something smaller that you might be working on.
I think that there might have actually been a husband that Gertie did like, and he's passed on, but she's kept his spirit somewhere on a shelf, and
Hmm.
I think she's going to Frankenstein up a body for him.
Like a mechanical one, or like flesh one?
Yeah,
Okay, fair enough.
Like a
So
mechanical one or a flesh one, yeah.
yeah.
okay, no, that's good. So here's what I'm gonna give you then. You finished up work on your horseless carriage. You're starting to drag it out of the barn. It's got like a tow rope. You're gonna run it once you. It can get a little bit unsafe to operate it inside of inside of the barn because of like potential resonance with some of the other spirits and stuff kept there. And as you're pulling it out of the barn, you turn and look at the shelf where you keep that bottled spirit, as well as collections of other stored spirits, essentially your battery bank there
Hmm.
in the barn. And you turn to look, and your shelves have been cleared out. They're empty. There's nothing sitting on there except, sorry, there is something sitting there. There's a small vase, and in it, sitting upright, is a single daisy.
What the fuck? The Daisy Man stole my spirits.
Well, we got the wrong target, huh?
God damn it.
And I think immediately you would drop the tow rope, take a closer look at the daisy there, see if there's any other signs of entry. And sitting next to it is a small letter in an envelope, neatly folded. There's no seal or anything on it. They've just tucked the lip of the envelope in behind it. But it's
Dear
sitting
Gertie, it's me, Poppy Diaz.
there. No, it is addressed to you though. It does say, I think, your full name, Gertrude Goddard, on the front.
Pull
Ew.
that out and read it. I hide it. I don't let Cyrus read it. I
Yeah,
angle it so he can't see it.
It's a short message. 2 sentences. The first one is, your work is remarkable. And the second one is, thank you for it.
This bitch.
He's gonna
I
be a real
will,
ghost when I get my hands on him.
You know what? We don't want to do, because I do feel like this was a tad bit mean of me. I'm going to give you a free clue link, like left from this mission real quick.
No, stick to your guns, man.
Well, this is me sticking to my guns. I like
swords.
Look, I can do nice things from time to time too.
Emma, remember when we were gonna like get clues and stuff?
Yeah, remember when that was gonna happen? Instead, we met the devil.
Hey, I'm sorry. Who does the night belong to? It ain't yours.
You guys were
Sure as
too
fuck
busy.
tried.
You guys were too busy being the emotional depth of this game
Yeah.
to look for clues.
Emma and I chose odd. Sero and Pat chose even.
Gertie, I'm gonna give you the clue directly in front of the shelf as you inspect the area. There's no sign of entry. There's no sign of tampering with any of those devices. They're just gone. All that's left behind is this vase with a daisy and this letter addressed to you. However, directly in front of this shelf, on the ground, in the dirt of the barn, there's no floor to much of this barn. There is, rather than an unusually light boot print, there is an unusually heavy one. The earth here has not seen like rain or more. Like, El Paso doesn't get a lot of rain to begin with, but the dirt here in the barn is heavily packed before it's constructed to begin with. You have to have a fairly firm foundation. So, but there's a boot print an inch deep in hard packed soil, which would be nigh impossible. You would know that would take, far more pressure than that a man could bear on his shoulders in order to put that in the ground like that. And yet it is there all the same. And indelibly, it matches the one that you saw in the house at Declan's place previously. So an unusually heavy boot print in the dirt.
Change your plans, Cyrus. I'm going to the bank.
It's an awfully weird time to be pulling out a withdrawal.
We're going to the bank. Hop in.
I see you have your serious goggles on.
Then if that's your choice, then I'm going to say, like, basically we hard cut from you at the farm pulling out your riding contraption to you in the middle of town. You are picking up Cyrus, who has just emerged from the tunnel section to continue walking through the edge of town towards the river. So you pull up next to him. His feet are covered in crude. He's slung a huge bag of gold on his back.
If that's the case, I pull up and I go, change your plans, Cyrus. You're going to have to swim. And I tear off. That's my spirit-powered ambulatory carriage.
Follow Gertie.
I forgot he wasn't there. Sorry.
I think I'm going to turn to where where her motorized, I don't know what else to call it other than carriage, her motorized carriage just sped off from, and go, did she say swim? And then You see Texas Tom like standing where the carriage was, just go.
Yep.
Actually, I think he would shrug, and then he would turn, and he would point to the river where you see already on the horizon, like the night is upon you. You see the glowing bow of the Confederate ship. In a few short hours, it's going to be bombarding the town again because that's what it does now. And he points at the ship, he points at the river, and then he like throws a thumb over his shoulder at the railway bridge.
Yeah, that was my thought too.
I mean, it is only like 300 feet across to swim, so.
I will remind you,
only 300 feet.
It's only 300 feet, and he only has a weight of gold on his back that is heavy enough to hunch him over. Certainly that will go well.
I certainly won't sink to the bottom of the river.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking the train
To
bridge.
the bottom of the river.
Love that.
You don't want to come meet Scratch?
Let's do our next unseen, and then we'll do
Our last unseen?
Yeah, our last unseen. You don't have to tidy off the night with it. I think, and I want
Let's
to do.
say, man, we're getting through them early in this night phase.
Yeah, we are, but I'm feeling it because I feel like the next two scenes are gonna be something. So
+1 to Pat. Pity +1 for him having to walk
Getting
swim
all-
with all that gold.
So I have a +3 now because I still have yet to roll in this
Say,
session.
we've only had like 1 or 2 rolls this session, and we have so many.
I mean, all I've rolled is
Plus
for
a
clues, so
reroll.
I haven't. Yeah. I guess we're going to have to play again another week, David.
before things get underway here,
Oh no. Oh.
Rude.
Oh, hydrate.
I figure now that we've all freshly, vented, it's now time to reintegrate.
Vented.
Yeah.
I'm not done venting.
So let's do our unseen. Let's do our last unseen, and then we'll move back to some of our regular scenes. This is going to be for Emma. The silence wakes. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. As his shift wraps up late in the night, Francis checks out the foyer and front desk to make sure everything is in order for the next shift when he discovers a note from the day manager dismissing Francis permanently from the staff. What does Francis do after reading the note?
So he gets this note. It says something to the effect of, "Dear Mr. whatever Francis's last name is, it has come to our attention that you've been stealing art regularly."
Heck yeah.
We don't know what you're doing with it, but we don't appreciate it, and also you're fired. We'll have somebody to replace you post haste.
Oh, he's
But they
fired.
don't want the art back.
And
What do
then
we do?
tucked directly behind that letter is a little card that says, "Down on your luck, need help? Felicity J. Faust." Knock 3 times at the crossroads.
Aww.
And he looks at that and he sighs. And he walks out. Takes his favorite art piece with him.
What? Pat, I don't like your theory. New theory. Francis is the Daisy Man. Oh, Francis is gonna get it.
I mean,
Rude.
Gonna get it.
Somebody's got to be. So love that. We pass then from the final scene there at the front desk of the Grand Maximilian, and instead, I guess first we pick up with Gertie. You hurtle across town on your vehicle. Describe to us briefly what it looks like. We've kind of talked about it in the abstract. She hurry Gerties. Gertie, what does it look like precisely? Give me some features at least that we can have stick in our brains.
Well, it looks sort of like an actual carriage, but it doesn't have a top because she's turned it into a convertible. So it does sometimes have a top, but at the moment the top's down. It kind of looks like a cross between a horseless horseless carriage and a sleigh, but at the moment it has a dinghy around the outside of it because it's been chitty chitty bang banged in anticipation for crossing the.
Excellent.
Yeah, and not a sound. Although some people swear that they hear a "ooh"
Yeah.
on occasion, but that's just rumors. It's
Yeah,
nothing
just
factual
rumors.
to that one at all.
There isn't even like squeaking from wheels as they turn.
Oh no, she's an inventor. She's made the perfect wheels for carriages, but
Yeah.
she's not
She
giving
Wow.
reinvented the
up to
wheel
anyone.
just so that
Yep.
she could.
Reinvented the wheel. Yeah.
There is perhaps just a soft crunching of the tires or whatever material they are on the dirt as you whiz along the roadway. On the uneven roads, there's a little bit of a
Gertie,
bumping
there's
and
no
jostling
need
to
to
your
pee
carriage
on
as
the
you go.
side of the road. There's outhouses.
So you make it across town towards the bank, from what I gather. What's your intentions of going to the bank this evening?
To get to the Daisy Man because
Daisy
he
Man?
he needs to be turned into an actual real ghost and to tell her where he put the other ghosts.
Yeah, you're hurtling along, and you're going to have advantage on this because you do on anything that is sort of while you're traveling here, right? But I do think I need a night move with. This is probably you're kind of stealing yourself, so that's going to be composure. Give me a night move with composure as you navigate these streets, and like this is we're in an age before street lamps. The wounded night moon is sort of in its reddish hue, not casting that much light along the
What
roadway.
are you talking about? I have ghost powered lanterns.
I'm sure you do, but they still only
And that's why
throw
you get
so far in
advantage.
front, right? Yeah. You're gonna have advantage on this roll, but I do want a night move. What are you worried could happen as you're going along the road here, hurtling towards the bank?
Which Gertie is not worried about herself or her carriage. She's
Mhm.
worried about getting the spirits back. So she's worried that that they are completely out of her reach. She's done something to them that she cannot reobtain them.
Mm. I think how things are worse than that is I don't think if you fail this roll, I don't think you're going to make it to the bank tonight. I think you're going to be caught in one of the Daisy Man's traps.
God damn it. Okay.
So let's give me that night move.
So when I roll with advantage, it's an extra dice, right? Take the
Yep.
two
So
highest.
yep. Exactly. Roll 3. Take
Put
the
a
2.
Composure.
-1 on this.
Dixon
Yeah.
wants to remind you that you have a reroll.
I have a +1, a -1, a -1, and 2 rerolls.
So you have a -1 and 2 rerolls.
Well, if we're summing them all together.
Sure, a -1 and 2 rerolls. I have a +1 for composure, so it negates the -1.
Mm-hmm.
So
But
it's a
also
flat roll.
you.
Have
How do we
2
roll?
rerolls,
Well,
and I rolled a
it's
Steven.
just they
Steven.
don't stack, do they? Or do they stack?
I think we
David
established
said
at the
that
beginning
we
that
can.
you can do either, and since we're not going to have that many more rolls probably left in the session, it's
Yeah.
probably a good idea to stack them.
Okay, so I rolled a Steven.
A 7. Well, 7 is a success, but it is a mixed success. So here I will say, what for a night move, you do it or hold steady, but there's a complication or cost. So then, what I'll say for that is, I think you will, and I'll give you the option of doing a mask, or we can flesh this out in greater detail. But I think you will make it to the bank tonight. But my complication or cost is you will like go through several traps along your way, and by the time that you get there, if the Daisy Man has visited, he will already be gone. So you will not have a chance to encounter them tonight.
Could always reroll
Okay, well,
or
I
put
have
on
a
a mask.
reroll, so should I
Yeah, go for it.
reroll?
Go for it.
Why not?
So I reroll with advantage again, right? Or is it just
Yep.
a straight roll?
No, I think this is still with advantage. It's trying that same roll again, right? So
No, it's something
Is that worse?
success. Yeah. I'll roll again because I got 2 rerolls.
one more reroll.
Is it better?
10.
10.
Nice.
Okay.
That's a
10
success.
plus.
Much
You do
better.
what you intended to do or hold steady. Describe what it looks like. So, as you're running along the road, your vehicle near silent, just the crunching of earth beneath you, your ghost lights sparked out in front of the vehicle, giving you a little bit more information as you're blazing along in the darkened streets. And in front of you, maybe 20, 30 feet, you catch a glimpse of something that catches the moonlight just right and then catches the lights from your vehicle as well. It's a thin wire stretched across the road, clearly a tripwire meant to catch you and perhaps trigger something. 10 plus, you definitely do avoid this. Describe for me how you avoid this trap and continue on towards the bank.
I pull on Gertie pulls on a lever, and a little ramp comes down in front of it, and the carriage ends up jumping over the.
I love the idea that Gertie essentially is just Speed Racer. Fantastic.
It does
So
leave the
yeah,
ramp behind, though. She has to make a note to come back and pick it up later because she doesn't.
you have a
Yeah.
deployable ramp, so you
Mhm.
I love the scene, like where we do like a wide shot, we see the line, we see your vehicle coming up, we see like a mechanical fixture dump this ramp in front of your vehicle, and instantly you are rocketed into the air. And in slow motion, we see tires spinning, ghost engine wooing. You fly over the tripwire, sort of bounce heavily on the earth on the other side, and continue on down the road towards the bank. We'll pick up with you with that briefly, but first we're going to pick up with our people at the bank. Um, Casey, Felicity.
I want to
This,
clarify because I
yeah.
am in my underwear, but we're talking like Wild West time
Oh
underwear.
yeah,
So like, so
Mhm.
it's like a slip basically. It's like just like a
Long John's pants
fairly
sort of thing.
fairly thin like underdress basically
Still
Modest to
sexy.
nowadays.
compared to nowadays. But like I'm
Mhm.
scandalous as far as
Your
we're
ankles.
Ankles terribly visible.
If Muna saw
Um,
you right now, she would faint.
well, and before you were here in the darkness of this room, you sort of felt to some degree invisible, even to Casey, who you were sharing the space with. But now, as the two of you sort of turn over your shoulder and see Mr. Perdition, your boss, behind you, the room, every candle, every lantern has been lit. Their flickering light fills the space. Not quite to the full light of day, but it is no longer shrouded in darkness. Instead, you are in this flickering world of flames and shadows. And with a pleasant smile, you see a man of perfectly average height and dimensions. He's got very fair skin, jet black hair cut close to his head. He's got just a sprinkling of fairly attractive stubble along his cheeks and a thin goatee at the bottom. He's wearing a heavy red velvet suit, one which both would be a bit too loud for this town and also would be a bit too warm for it. And yet, the way that he wears it, the way that he carries himself, you can tell that he's never felt warm a day in his life. Certainly not here. In his hand is a thin cane, not unlike the one that we saw in the scene with Beauregard before, but rather than this dog head on top, it is this thin black wooden base leading up to. I'm imagining probably, let's go classic. It's like a sort of spun horned goat head on top of the cane. Um,
That's
and
good. I like that.
with a side smile, he kind of gestures his arms to you and,
Scratch, I thought that I had the run of this place.
oh, Felicity, I'm not here with you this evening to step on your toes or get in the way of your very successful operation. We're here tonight to celebrate your achievements. I've been monitoring your progress. It's been a little bit slow as of late, but I have to say, you've really outdone yourself lately.
I look over at Casey and I'm like, I have never met an immortal person that is more impatient than this man.
Casey's white.
Slow.
Look, you can have all of the time in the world, but unless you make good use of it, what do you really have at all? Drinks? And he gestures to a table, and where there was not one before, there is a beautiful glass of, or a beautiful bottle of wine. There are several glasses strewn about, and he says, if wine's not your preference, I have other options, always.
He is sort of the patron saint of other options. I'll go over and get a drink.
KC, right? Is there anything I can tempt you with? Bourbon, whiskey, wine?
Sorry, who are you?
Pardon me, I failed to introduce myself. He reaches into his vest pocket and he pulls out and hands you a black card with white lettering that says Mr. Perdition. I am Felicity's supervisor.
Wait, you're him?
I'm Mr. Perdition. It's the name is on the card. It's what you may call me. A drink, perhaps? It seems like you may require a little bit of support.
Yeah.
I'll bring over a glass to Casey. You're gonna need this.
Yeah, I will down it. All.
Good call.
What are you doing here?
To what do we owe the pleasure?
Well, your conversation invited me, of course. But I did come here on business.
With
Felicity, of course. It was time for a bit of a performance review, and well, performance has been quite good lately. I came here to celebrate.
What, are you gonna give her a fucking raise?
And he turns his head to you, and you realize that there is a bit of an oddness in the way this room is lit. All of these candles flicker like at the same times. All the flames have the same motion. They're like synchronized. And he turns and like in one of those flickers, in one of those lapses in light, his head has like turned at a bit of an angle and he's looking directly at you, Felicity. And when he blinks his eyes, the eyelids blink from side to side. And he says, "Is that what you want?"
I think I'm just gonna like stand in front of Casey, give like a little bit of buffer. And I'll just I'll pour a third glass that I'll hand to him, and I'll say, I don't know, what did you have in mind?
He takes it from you happily. The candles resume flickering like normal. He takes a sip from the glass. Well, I believe that no good deed should go unpunished. So I imagined that it was time to discuss your future with you. After all, what you've done in town, what you've accomplished, nothing short of remarkable. The fall of such a devout woman to, well, forming a church of your own of sorts. It's really quite the accomplishment. You should feel proud of yourself for what you've done here. And as he says that, there's like always a bit of a smarminess that he just comes off of him naturally. But you know, like the way he's locked eyes with you, the way that he says it, you've been around Mr. Perdition long enough to know that he's genuinely thinks that you should be patting yourself on the back. This is an incredible move. He does not normally shower you with drinks and praise. This is not your everyday relationship with him.
Yeah, I think this actually kind of makes her a little bit uncomfortable. And she's just kind of like, I mean, nothing's set in stone yet. Sure, she signed the deal, but she could always pay the money back.
Well, she hasn't been able to collect that kind of money previously.
It's true.
I think the work that you have here, well, I think you've set yourself up just right for it to continue to be quite profitable for yourself and for her. Her dream will be realized thanks to you. I know you're hesitant sometimes to view what you've done in the world as anything positive, but you really should. You should view yourself in higher regard. And you, Casey, how are your goals progressing? I'm not your contractor in particular, although I believe there is a loose relationship between the two of us.
It's going fine.
Anything you require to assist your
Nope.
goals?
Nope.
She's fine. We've got it handled.
Well, this is a celebration, but it is also a review. Do you feel like your needs are being met by Felicity? It's so rare that I'm able to solicit this kind of feedback.
No, it's totally fine. We're kind of actually in the middle of something right now.
Oh. He kind of looks around. I don't see anything.
Can I peer into the eyes of the doll that's in the
Yeah, totally.
in the vault?
Yeah, I mean, you do that, and it is a darkened vault. Maybe you have like a single candle or something you lit in there previously, but it seems undisturbed for now.
No movement as of yet.
Did the Daisy Man make a deal with you?
And Mr. Perdition cocks his head. Well,
And so does Felicity, actually. I don't think she'd considered that yet.
there's a certain measure of confidentiality that comes with my arrangements, but if that's something you'd like to inquire about further, I'm sure that we could come to an arrangement.
Scratch.
Sorry, I won't poach, certainly not from my top performer. Well, the night is running along, and I feel like we're done here. If there's anything you need from me, well, you know how to reach me.
She really just popped in to give us a bottle of wine and say good job.
And he picks up the bottle and he takes it from the table and he puts it in your hands and kind of like takes your hand and like wraps it around the bottom of it and like puts it towards you and says, "You've earned it." And then he snaps his fingers and all of the lights, all the candles snuff out and he disappears.
Important note, just because I'm curious.
Yeah.
Gloves or no gloves?
I don't think he wears any gloves, but I think when his skin was on your skin, it did not bear the warmth of human skin.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Really?
And I'll just like hold it by the neck. Do the lights go out when he leaves, I assume?
I mean, all of the candles were lit by him, so as he snaps his fingers, they all snuff out. You're in a darkened room once again. Dark except for as the darkness drops in the room, you see rounding the corner from some of the buildings a pair of headlamps from a vehicle that I assume you've seen before. As these ghostly lights are
so
cast.
excited to put the goggles down.
I want to make the decision that I have not seen this yet. I'm just gonna be like, what the hell is that?
Oh, that's Gertie. Does he always appear when you say his name?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even say his name.
Okay, make a note to myself, I guess, for that.
No, he doesn't always show up, but he can if he wants to. It's in the details, you see.
I did not read the fine print. Okay.
That's more my contract than it is yours, so you're good.
Can I, besides Gertie coming, anything else? Anyone else?
I think. Well, actually, let me ask. Are you saying is there anything else suspicious happening here?
Yeah, because I mean we've been anticipating the Daisy
Yeah,
Man's appearance.
You've been staking it out all night.
And the only appearance has been the devil.
Yeah. Give me a. This is going to be a night move. I think this is with sensitivity, which is your -1. Sorry about that.
It's okay. I have a
But
+2 from the audience.
yeah.
And
What do
two rerolls.
you? So I'm coloring this a little bit as like the group of you are somewhat distracted by our third member arriving, Gertie popping up on her car, or her motorized carriage, her ghosterized carriage. You cannot access the haunted doll network, but you have your own ways of looking for things, though.
Yep.
What are you worried might be happening here? Like, what are you worried about? Let's get your concern before we get the roll.
I'm worried that we've been set up for a trap.
Yeah. I'm gonna say how it's worse than that. This night is going all according to plan, but it isn't your plan.
Yeah. That's how I feel.
That's good.
Okay, so I got a 1, but if I add the +2, because I can just like do the 2 + 1s as 1, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
So I get a +1. No.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. That's
Yes.
math. Okay, and I can reroll, and that's 2d6s, correct?
Yep, 2d6s. I don't think either of your conditions necessarily matter for this roll, so you're good to just roll flat.
Okay.
Did we do enough with the vulnerable move to clear one of her conditions?
Yeah, actually, totally. I think you all covered the vulnerable move. You don't get to stumble on a clue because I think instead you did do the invite them to ask a question about your past, because that definitely did happen in the course of that. But you both can clear a condition if you'd like.
Okay.
Oh, cool. I guess I am technically no longer covered in crude oil since I did.
You've changed.
Does the use of the ghost traps do anything to help me?
Yeah, if you want to mark those.
What does that do for me?
That will give you, I believe marking it gives you advantage.
Okay, so 1 more die? Or
yes,
I roll twice?
You'll take the higher too.
Highest, okay.
Marking, yeah, I believe marking is an advantage, not a +1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whee! Oh. Okay, so I rolled an 8 on the dice.
Mm-hmm.
If I do a reroll, I still get it with advantage?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same roll. You just do it again.
Whee! Okay, that's better.
That's good.
11.
+1?
I rolled an 11.
You rolled an 11. Well, on an 11, that's 10 plus. You do what you intended to do, or hold steady, and we're going to describe what it looks like. So you go over to the vault, and I think you close your eyes. I think you have a kind of second sense for danger. We've described this previously when Cletus
like
Skaggs
Sherlock
was coming.
Holmes, but cowboy.
Yeah.
Where everything slows down and just like
I kind of like that. That visualization I do like. When Cletus came upon you in the alleyway and he went to draw, before he did it, you like sensed, you understood the situation in a way that was like apart from yourself. It's like accumulation, an accumulation of all the experiences you have up until now in this violent world you've lived. You've tuned and honed this connection to something outside of yourself, something bigger than yourself, almost like a whisper in your ear, but not from anyone in specific, from the situation itself, that tells you what is going to happen, right? Like this
Can I?
sixth sense. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, disagree with this if you want, but can we flavor it as his voice?
Oh, like Jesse's, like Jesse James.
Nope, like the devil. Since
Oh,
I
like
just
Mr.
met
Perdition.
him. Yeah.
Then I'm actually going to color it, because we described your thing as prayer and like specifically to Felicity. I think it's Felicity's voice.
Okay. Creepy.
It's not like Felicity herself speaking to you, but you hear her voice, and
I'm in your head.
It's like
yeah,
Jiminy
you've like,
Cricket, but Felicity Cricket.
yes, you've rested your hand on the outside of this vault, and you've closed your eyes, and you've concentrated that sense. You're thinking about everything you've seen. You're taking in everything in this room, everything you've heard, everything you're feeling right now. Something outside of just your own cognitive abilities, and you hear Felicity's voice whisper in your ear, "It's someone else. He's here." And in
Emma,
your
can we get
mind,
that clean?
It's someone else. He's here.
yeah, you hear her voice in your ear, and in your mind you stitch together, when you saw those headlamps coming around the corner, you saw the shadow of a man just outside of view, outside of one of the windows of this building. And his frame does not match the descriptions you've heard of the Daisy Man, but instead his frame matches one you know very well, as you hogtied him yesterday. Um,
Uh,
you have a
Cletus?
10 plus here. I will tell you what is about to happen, and I will ask how you will then handle the situation.
Oh, I think you
Cletus
know how I'm going to handle the
Cletus has
situation.
eyes on you through a hole in the outside of the bank. He is about to fire in this room and try to kill the both of you.
Okay.
Oh.
You know this. You have foreknowledge here. You understand where he is, relatively speaking. What do you do in this bullet time to protect the both of you?
I think you can guess. Only one of two answers, and I'll give you one, and you don't need both. I'm going to shoot him.
You're just gonna like cold shoot him through the wall.
Yes.
I love that.
I think almost like from his point of view, like it's the very cool camera angle where you suddenly see Casey and Felicity through the hole, and it like kind of like backs up, and you see Cletus is looking through it, readying his own gun, but then it's a quick zoom in on Casey as she pulls her own gun and shoots, ideally based on the roll, perfectly through this hole into Cletus's eye.
You shoot him through the hole.
Shoot him in his hole.
Shoot him through the hole.
Shut up!
Shoot him through the hole.
Make another hole.
I'm
Through the
trying
hole.
to be cool, guys.
I'm trying to decide if we need another roll here, but I don't think we do. I think this is your understanding. This is your understanding of the situation and your response. So yeah, from your perspective, Felicity, you have no idea. Like for you, you see the lights. You're focused through the window. You think you're trying to figure out who's shown up. You don't even know that it's Gertie yet. She said you didn't recognize the vehicle. Meanwhile, Sixth Sense, Casey, you are in danger. You have turned and you have fired just the one shot through the wall.
Yeah. So, question though.
Yeah.
If you do it right, you only need one.
Does this require me to roll though, because I have the move, that devil name, excuse me. Whenever another character challenges your name by insulting, belittling, or assaulting you in front of witnesses, you have a choice. I could.
I'm a witness.
Use wrath or fading glory.
He was giving it to you anyway because of your previous role.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I'll just give this one to you, but I will ask you. Well, I will ask you to still mark wrath because
Got it. Works for me. Then that means
You know what?
my
I'll have you
main-
mark
You are
Wrath.
still responding violently.
Yeah. I'll have you
Cool.
mark Wrath, and because you normally would gain a benefit for that, you normally gain advantage. We're just kind of bypassing that part of the roll, though, because of your previous one.
That's fine.
I will go
And-
ahead and maybe give you a little something more for that.
Sure,
Well, actually, here's what I'll ask you. Does this shot kill Cletus?
Ooh.
Or does this just blind him
My-
in one eye?
So I think it has to, because if we're having this count towards my wrath counter, my
Mhm.
wrath counter is now full.
And
which
so
means if my wrath tracker is full, the legend is fully in the thrall of their name. Any instance of insult, mockery, or harm by a side character will be met with deadly violence.
then
Plus,
yeah.
I just fucking met the devil. I need to take
Well,
out
well-
my shit somehow.
Here's what I'll say then. You fire and instantly, without having to think about it, instinctively you hear Felicity's voice in your ear. You spin around and you fire a shot dead through this hole. You hear Cletus cry out as his right eye is gone now. Your bullet has taken it from him, and he stumbles away from where he was at the wall. And I think the bullet does not kill him instantly because of the angle, and the bullet had to go through a wider aperture than it was, so there was a little bit of a misalignment. The shrapnel, his face like has specks of wood and of course a bullet wound out one side of it, and he reels to the side with his one good eye. He stumbles towards the door that I think probably is close. So it's probably more towards the window. He stumbles towards the window and goes to just blankly fire into the building. And before he can, you are enthralled by wrath right now. How do you brutally kill Cletus from inside this room?
Does it have to be inside?
You
Do I
can
have
go
to
out
be
if you
inside?
want.
Okay,
This is your scene now. How do
Okay,
you
okay,
kill
okay,
Cletus
okay.
as as your fellow member of the Vigilance Committee rolls up in her car?
I am
So
going
we get the glow of the lamplights
Yeah.
on this
You're
scene.
frozen again, Emma.
Yeah.
No.
Group refresh, and then Miah will describe how Cletus dies.
Yay. Gotta love group refresh.
Hey, Cletus Deletus.
Oh, Cletus Peepus, Deletus. Alright, did you guys hear me?
I
Yep.
forgot about Cletus Deletus from last time.
Okay, David, can you speak?
I can.
Oh, good. I think we're all good. Should we continue then? Unless the audience says
Yes.
otherwise.
I think we should be good based on precedent.
Okay.
Cletus Deletus because he got to fetus.
So I am going Casey having shot
Yeetus, Cletus Deletus.
I mean, only if he gets
Uh,
yeeted.
Casey
Got a
having
hole
shot
yeeted through him.
Cletus
Mhm.
is then going to continue to finish the job. She is going to drop her rifle, like put it on the ground and sprint towards the window and like dive smash through it.
Yeah.
Rolling. Yeah, I want to grab
That's good.
like football style, just run into him and is like midsection tackling Cletus to the ground.
He
And-
genuinely
to-
does not know what hits him. Like,
Yes.
That absolutely has to set off an alarm, doesn't it?
oh, I think this is we are at an age
bank.
before electronics. The
Mhm.
bank window shatters. The alarm is the neighborhood dog
neighbors.
starts barking. Yeah.
It's
That's
us.
fair.
We are the alarm.
I guess that's true.
And unless Gertie has
I-
been hired to kit it out, there is no
Yeah.
fancy
Yeah.
alarm.
I will start just punching him in the face. Just continuing punching
I
him
mean, your hands are
blindly.
immediately bloody because a bullet has torn through one side of his head.
Yes.
And also, you just jumped through a window.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
He so snide, such a punchable face. You've thought it from the moment you first saw him. Now with this last, not even. What an insulting way to try to kill you, right? Like, not he didn't challenge you. He didn't make himself known. He just tried to shoot you through the wall of the building at night. Like, there is no more sly, no more underhanded way to approach you. And with rage boiling, overflowing, you finally make good on that punchability and you clobber him into the ground.
Before he goes unconscious, I
Yeah.
want to grab him by the collar and just like get right up into his face. Are you the Daisy Man? Why the fuck are you here?
And he like spits blood at you. You've broken several of his teeth. His face is an absolute mess. One of his eyes is, gone. The other one, like, tears, dirt. There's flecks of wood you can see embedded and like just around the iris.
Who's
He
the
is
Daisy
not.
Man?
He's like, wait, I don't know who you're talking about.
Smack his head on the ground. Why are you here? The Daisy Man was supposed to be here. Who is the Daisy Man?
Powerful people want you dead.
I think I'm just gonna come over and like gently like lay a hand on Casey's shoulder and just say he doesn't know anything.
Who? What powerful people?
And he like
And like tap his face like before he like is what like going whatever.
yeah,
like come
he's
on,
definitely
Cletus.
he's starting to go on. He's like,
You don't got much time.
give me a night move. I think you're worried he's not going to tell you, obviously. The worse than that is that whoever he's working for will know this transpired. This is with presence. You are convincing him to give up his the person who's behind him. He doesn't want to do that for sure.
Presence?
Yeah, this is gonna be presence. Yeah.
Okay.
Can
Oh no, I do have one. I was looking at Cyrus's. I was like, oh shit, I have a 0. No, it's Cyrus. Sorry, Cyrus. Okay, I have one reroll.
Hear me out. If you wanted to mark either the blood money from earlier or the katana, you could leverage the katana in some sort of threatening way, or you could use the blood money and like you could basically allude that you already know who's after you, and then he might give you more information. Either one of those I think would work.
Yeah, I think I'll do.
You'll still have to roll, but that'll give you advantage. You are currently enraged, so I do think maybe the violent path makes more sense for you right now. But
yes. So, which one are you suggesting?
I'm impressed by the restraint you've shown so far.
I think leaning on the katana here would be the violent route.
Okay, and that gives me advantage.
Yep, you can mark that in your personal quarters and then take advantage.
Okay. Oh, also, I guess actually, technically, I wouldn't need to do that because in any scene that I've gained a point of wrath.
Oh, you have advantage.
I guess this is a crowd. I may take advantage on any roll to convince a crowd to a specific course of action.
Oh.
Be spoken in a short phrase. Can that?
Let me read
not
it.
really crowd.
Yeah,
it's the name.
It's just me. It's just me and Gertie.
Yeah, I don't think this would quite qualify for that.
That's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the katana's dope. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, and you said presence, so I get +1, and I get a reroll.
This is very much an any last words, tell me your source sort of moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be like, you want me to hear your confession before she
That's gonna be an 11.
That's an 11? Yeah.
Yep.
Describe for me how you coerce these last words out of him with this katana.
I am going to take the katana off of my back and like flip it in my hand so that when I bring it down, it comes down like a steak knife
Yeah.
kind of thing, and just comes down right next to his ear. I lean down to his other ear and whisper, "Lots of powerful people want me dead. And look how far it's gotten me. I'm not afraid. So, who, Cletus?"
Yeah. Sobbing out of his one good eye, Cletus coughs out the name Beauregard. Hallow Beauregard.
Hallow.
That wasn't so hard now, was it? And then I'm going to like kiss his cheek and then punch him on the other side, knocking him out.
Are you not gonna kill him?
I mean, I think because we've hit your wrath tipping point, I think you have to kill him. Like,
Yeah. I'm gonna so let me retcon that. I
Yeah.
will kiss his cheek, lean up.
Jesus
So-
Christ, Dixon.
I didn't say it, but I said it rhymes with Cletus, the piece that he drops off. Cletus.
David, help me out. I am not an
Yeah.
expert of
Yeah.
katanas, but
Yeah.
I would like to somehow leverage it so that it is like a what's the word? The medieval knife thing falling from the sky. So I was
Like a
imagining
guillotine?
like
Oh,
I was
Damocles.
imagining like almost like a paper cutter thing, just like taking the katana and just go
Here's what I would
but I'm
here's
not
what I would
sure.
say for you. You stabbed it
Yeah.
in next to his ear. You could like
Yeah.
grab the handle of it and then like twist his head to the side and then like a paper cutter, just bring it down
Yeah.
and just cut his head off.
Okay, what about better idea?
Yeah?
Hold the
Mhm.
katana, grab his
Yeah.
head, and throw his head and neck like across the katana.
Totally
That
works.
too.
Sorry.
Yeah,
That.
you hold the katana, you pick his head, and then as if you were throwing his head into the
Throw.
wall, you just slam it into the blade of the katana.
God, I'm a horrible person.
So
who's worse, Casey or Casey for the Monsters
this
Playbook?
this happens. Felicity, you're standing behind watching Casey commit this brutal murder, and having just parked their vehicle, we have Gertie. You see blood has already not soaked, like totally soaked the soil in front of the bank. Cletus, who I don't think you ever saw, a man. Casey is above a man who is dead beneath her. His face cracked well and truly open. His blood soaking the earth. How do you feel about that?
I stop for a moment, take in the scene, run up to them, push Casey aside, grab Cletus by the lapels, and start shaking his lifeless body and yelling, "Where is it? Where did you put them? Give them back!" Assuming that this is the Daisy Man.
Yeah.
God, the head is
His
just
dead body
hanging on.
flops in your arms and blood goes everywhere.
I'm just gonna let
I still
Gertie
got my
do
goggles
that
on.
as I pour Casey another glass of wine and I hand it off to her.
Well done.
We cut from your reunion here in front of this body in front of the building to the hunched form of Cyrus Danforth. You've clambered up to the top of the bridge, of the railway bridge. It is covered irregularly in upward facing spikes of wood and periodically even bits of like almost caltrop style bits of spiked metal. These have been
Around
placed
here
here
we call that
specifically.
them things. Around here we call that hostile architecture.
Yeah. This bridge is covered in hostile architecture. This is a real historical fact to stop people from crossing the border here. This is going to be a move to cross. If you don't have anything specific, then I feel like this is the night move. What are you worried about is going to happen here? Cyrus. We just left Cletus in the dirt. He's there. He's there behind us off screen. Cyrus.
I'm pretty sure Cletus is returning to dirt.
Yeah. You see the glowing form of the ship drawing closer. You have maybe half an hour to get this across to the rurales before the ship begins bombarding the city again. It's not that far to go, but it is a dangerous journey. And if it catches sight of you, even somebody as inconsequential as yourself, something may go wrong. So tell me, what are you worried about is going to happen here?
I'm worried that the ghost ship will continue to pester the town.
Yeah, I think how it's worse than that. The ship is going to recognize the gold here on the bridge with you, and this bridge is going to get bombarded, and the gold will rejoin the ship in the water.
Fun.
Yeah.
All right. I have 1 reroll and +3.
Make it so.
Well, that's a 6 and a 5.
Hey, that's great.
Yeah, Cletus. No, Cyrus.
So
Sorry. Death on the mind.
fun. I am now Cletus. No. That's a 14.
Yeah. So on a 12 plus, not only do you do what you intended to do or hold steady, I will also give you an extra benefit or advantage. I'm gonna give you a clue. I'm gonna give you one from the Daisy Man. So that's the most relevant.
Was the hollow Beauregard a clue?
That's just the name of the mastermind.
Okay.
It's not technically a clue.
No worries.
Hallow, like hallowed ground. Hallow Beauregard.
The fuck kind of a name is Hallow?
It's his name. I don't know.
A Christian one.
A dead one.
A good Christian name.
A dead, soon to be dead name.
All right, I've got the clue I'm going to give you. Cyrus, how do you cross this bridge? How do you cross this bridge undetected? You do. You roll fantastically here. Describe the scene for me as you make your way across.
You know that scene in The Emperor's New Groove where Kronk is going with the
I was literally about to say it's a very comical rendition of like Mission Impossible, like scooting across the like bridge, deftly like ducking under barbed wire, hopping over spikes and stuff.
I love that. So you Mission Impossible style, da-da-da-da, like duck and weave. You got the thing on your back. You like roll over some spikes with the box first so that it takes the damage instead of you. And meanwhile, the ship like.
But very important to know, internal monologue. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, please, please, oh jeez, that almost got me,
Yeah.
It's all like ship don't see me, ship don't see me, ship don't see me, ship don't see me.
I love the idea that like we follow like close up to Cyrus's face towards the end. Like the camera gets closer and closer to Cyrus as he's crossing the bridge, and you're like still like panting heavily, and then it pulls out and we realize that you've already crossed it. You like made it across safely. You've made it to the Mexico side, and as you drop down from the bridge and roll across the earth of the dirt of the Mexican side, you've crossed the Rio Grande. You find yourself on south of the border. And as you roll and kind of stumble back up to your feet, you see 5 figures on horseback waiting for you there. I think the sun is not up yet, but like there's starting to be that little halo of light around the edge of the horizon, and it catches the back of them. They're just a little bit backlit. You can't quite make out their faces. You don't know these men, but one of them, when I say barrel chested, I mean like he is built like a fucking tank. He rolls up on his horse. This is the son of Papi Diaz. His name is Benito Diaz, commander of the Rurales. Benito pulls up in front of you, and very much like, I don't know how recently any of you have seen The Road to El Dorado, but there's a bit where Cortez like is like holds his hand down to someone, and like the camera's looking up, and you just see like this hulking figure in the light behind him and his hand outstretched. It's like that moment where Benito Diaz lowers his hand to you and holds it out for the gold. Cyrus, do you hand over the box?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you do so wordlessly, or do you like stumble out something? What does Cyrus do?
I think the threatening man on the horse is scary enough that Cyrus is silent and prays that this exchange happens as quickly as possible.
Yeah. He takes it from you. You start to leave, but then some of the other riders ride forward around you and surround you, not letting you leave immediately. As Benito Diaz cracks open the box and he rifles through it, verifying the contents. You see him nod and tip his hat back down, close the box, put it in a bag behind him on his horse, and then he holds out to you a rolled up newspaper that he gives to you. And he says, be sure to get that to Tia Gertie. And then he snaps his reins, and the 5 of them ride off into the sunrise. And you are left with this clue regarding the Daisy Man. He handed it to you, and it looked like it was like a rolled up newspaper. But it's actually like a penny paper, like a story you'd get in England, or printed by small presses here in the States. And it is stories about a legendary thief on the run from the devil. And several of the letters have been circled in it, and it spells out the word Daisy.
Oh, I was gonna wonder if it was Felicity.
I don't steal. I have no need to steal. I steal people's hearts.
Doesn't give them love back, though.
So you are given this, Cyrus, and then you realize, as with the creeping light of day, that you are currently illegally in Mexico and somehow have to make your way back home.
I think
What
as
did?
the rurales, stampede off in the distance, Cyrus is gonna look down and go, Yep, I peed myself. All right.
Oh, buddy.
I thought you would have.
You rolled a success.
Yeah, but it's still Cyrus.
Does he encumber a condition because of that?
No, because
I don't
I
think so.
rolled
He
a
rolled
success.
really well. Yeah, he rolled
I
really well.
know, just teasing.
That was
But
just character flavor text.
We'll all know that Cyrus peed himself. We'll know that in our heart of hearts. Nothing more happens at the bank that evening. The 3 of you are there. The body is sort of cleaned up later by some members from the sheriff's office, and you stake the place out, and nothing seems to go amiss or awry. The gold is not taken. The bank is not robbed that evening, at least.
Well, that's because
Gertie?
apparently Gertie was hit, right?
Can I take Cletus's ghost in one of the spirit jars? I need to
Absolutely.
rebuild my collection.
Yes. Yeah. No
Okay.
roll needed. You absolutely collect Cletus's spirit.
Okay, I'll put that
Love
in my
and hate that.
Cletus's spirit.
But as the 4 of you arrive back at, I think like it's morning has broken. You're going back to the hotel to get everybody cleaned up because it's the closest place where there's a bath available. And you each push through the doors into the building, last of which is Cyrus Danforth. And Cyrus, you see a familiar face sitting in one of the chairs in the lobby. But it's not your
Marshall
father's.
Jefferson Stockley waiting in line for the bathhouse.
We all wish. Are you kidding me? He's already at the bathhouse.
We do see a cameo of the marshal, not the marshal yet, with like a towel.
He's already at Gertie's house and her bath, remember?
Shirtless Jefferson Stockley, towel cast over his shoulder, past the door, headed to the bathhouse.
Tunes and looks.
Yeah. He tilts his hat at you.
But
Ma'am.
the camera sees that. Cyrus, you see a figure, not your father. That is not who your Spirit of the West. That's not who Texas Tom was talking to you about. No, it's your editor.
Ooh.
And he looks up from the newspaper he has in front of him and claps it down and says, "Cyrus, you have your draft for me?"
Mr. Bellevue, what a horrifying way to meet you. Here in El Paso. Listen, I've been busy, you know. I've been settling myself in here in El Paso. I've been, they threw me on this Vigilance Committee thing.
You're
with
making all these
this
excuses, and as you're saying this, he's folding up the newspaper and laying it down on the table and standing up from the chair, and he throws his arm around your shoulder. And as he does so, you remember that your editor, Mr. Bellevue, previous to his career in literature, had been a bouncer for a large club in New York City. And you feel the weight of his arm go around your shoulders as he squeezes you tight, and he says, "Let's carry on this conversation up in your room."
Oh, do we have to? There's witnesses down here.
Are we there with?
The three of you are also in the lobby for sure.
Do you want help, Pat, or we can like? Do you want one of us to step in or not?
That's up to y'all.
Okay.
Do I?
If you look at me like you need help,
to.
I will give you help.
Oh, he definitely has saved me eyes for sure.
Okay.
I will say before any of you describe anything else, like casting his eyes around the room for fervently looking for support is Cyrus, and you see out the window, you just see Texas Tom shaking his head at you slowly from outside.
I don't want to hear it right now.
May I step in?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Casey is still drenched now in dry blood.
Yeah.
Not alone. I think that the wrath is still in her eyes, and she crazy puts a hand on Cyrus's editor. Can we help you, friend?
Yeah. Bellevue turns his head.
She's like, I think like maybe a foot smaller than him.
Yeah, I mean he has the build of somebody who was a boxer when he was young, broke his nose a few times, it set kind of poorly. He became a bouncer, got a little bit of a gut, realized that he didn't really like his path in life, wanted to get off the streets, had spent all of his nickels and dollars growing up on books because he's actually kind of a bookworm. Landed himself a job as an editor, realized that these writers need coercion just as much as anybody on the streets paying their debts, and has taken that upon himself ever since. He looks at you with eyes of experience, and he sees the look in yours, and he smells the blood on you, and he casually, it's not nervous so much, but it is like game recognized game. He drops his arm off of Cyrus's shoulder and kind of lets that little bit of that distance form as Cyrus steps back, and he says, "Oh, didn't realize you were here with friends, and interesting ones at that."
Yeah, and he's gonna quickly like hide behind Casey.
I think
Whatever you
Felicity,
need. Go ahead.
you can go first.
Oh, whatever you need with Cyrus here, it's gonna have to wait, partner.
I can see that.
I'll step forward and say, but if you're looking for something, we might be able to figure something out.
He
fully redressed in finery, definitely looking like I work here.
He smiles a genial smile and taps the chair and says, "Well, I'll be staying here for a few days," and he looks meaningfully at Cyrus. I know where your room is. Maybe we'll catch lunch together later.
Yeah, sure. And
Wonderful.
I'll have part of a draft ready for you when you do.
He smiles, a snaggle-toothed smile, sits down in his chair and opens up the newspaper and says, anything would be better than the news.
When have I ever not made good on my book deals with you, Mr. Bellevue?
And he looks up.
Okay, name 2 times.
He sits back in the chair, snaps the newspaper open and says, lunch, noon.
Yes,
Can I look
sir,
at the
Yes, sir, Mr. Bellevue.
Can I look at the newspaper over his shoulder, see what he's reading?
Give me an investigation. Give me an investigation roll.
Responding to. Hell
This
yeah.
is we are definitely at the end of the scene. We're definitely at the end of the night. But I'll give you one last little roll here before we tie it out.
Investigation is
No
rolled
breathing.
with.
Investigation. In this case, this is definitely reason. You're just looking at the newspaper.
Okay. Cool. Seven.
7.
You know, 7.
7 to
is the
9.
most
You get a
commonly
clue, but it has a
rolled number on
complication.
2d6.
You catch just the headline of an article. He turns the page before you can see the rest of it. But it's a story that something to do with buying your way back to the land of the living.
That's the clue.
Yeah, it's like a editorial or like a like public interest story or something.
What
You don't
clue is
you don't
this
catch the
attached
full
to?
headline. This is attached to the Daisy Man.
I'm gonna write down buying your way back to the land of living. Every instinct I have wants me to snatch the paper out of his hand and turn back and read. But I'm gonna, for Cyrus's sake, play it cool and walk away.
Well, and I'll also say that is your mixed success. You don't get to know
Yeah.
the full article.
Gertie will come up to Cyrus and be like, was he going to do your body physical harm?
Not necessarily.
Okay, maybe before you meet him for lunch tomorrow
He
at
certainly would
noon,
have threatened to.
we can talk about how you can negotiate which parts of your body may or may not be threatened, because I need a few of them for things. Because you're my
Okay,
husband.
Cyrus,
Yeah.
I can help.
He's mostly harmless. He just has a deadline he has to make.
You know, after this past couple of nights, if you need to stand in for a shootout, ask me first.
What stand-in?
Do you own a gun? Do you know how to shoot a gun?
Let's go with yes.
I'm thinking no, and I don't know if that should
That sounds
be
like a no.
something we should give him, because he might injure himself. And like I said, I need some of those parts for experiment. I mean, because he's my husband.
Mm-hmm.
David, you're muted.
Yeah, the four of you bicker together over the usefulness of Cyrus's body here in the lobby before cleaning yourselves up and starting another day in El Paso. I think that does conclude our night cycle. We have successfully resolved the hunt for the Rebel Gold. Offline, we'll give any rewards for that come with that, as we may do more Ghosts of El Paso in the future. Who's to say? But one last little scene, one little stinger scene I'm gonna leave us with, is we're up in the penthouse once again of the Grand Maximilian Hotel. We see the door, big HB label. We pass through it inside, and we're looking over the shoulder of a familiar silhouette, a wide-brimmed hat, some sort of scraggly, curly hair, big, wide shoulders. We've only ever seen this character running away or silhouetted, but this is this person has the look about them of the Daisy Man. We see them from behind. We do not see their face. We do not see much of anything about them beyond that. In front of them, our sort of cameras behind them, we see the shoulder and their hair and stuff. In front of them, with their back to them at first, we see Hallow Beauregard, HB. He's standing in his familiar suit, looking out across the city as the sun breaks once again. We see a little bit of smoke in the distance as the distant train is coming on towards El Paso, puffing its smoke along the way. And he turns around, he's got a cup of tea in hand, he stirs it and takes a sip. And we just get one line from here before we fade to black. He locks eyes with the Daisy Man. We're still looking at Hallow, and he says, "So your technology, it's coming along well then?" And we see the Daisy Man. We just see their head nod, and Hallow smiles, and then we cut to black.
Thief! Charlatan!
His technology.
Yes, exactly. Typical man!
I wasn't gonna say it, but
And thank you for tonight for joining us in El Paso. We had an extended night phase. Yeah.
It was fun. We got a lot done.
We did.
It's amazing what we got done in a single night phase.
But I just want to quickly thank the audience. Without you throwing kiwi coins and bits and issues and complications at us, it would
Cyrus
be
would have been completely useless.
yeah, sure.
No.
Yeah. Things would have been a little bit less interesting, I'm sure. Also want to thank Pat and Emma from Trials of the Apocalypse. Thank you for coming back and joining us. And to Miah from the Monsters Playbook for joining us once more. We could not keep her away since she wanted to be a cowboy. And also big thanks to David for running this awesome game for us. And yes, giving us so many issues and tying in all of our little stories into the narrative. I see what you've been doing. I see it.
Thanks for hurting your friends, David.
Thank you so much. If anyone is interested in getting the Ghost of El Paso, that's created by Jason Cordova, who also made Brindlewood Bay. Cool. Should we just wave awkwardly while I find the buy button?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Nah.
Bye.
Oh my god, Pat.
Pew 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 pew
Look
pew
at
pew
that
pew pew pew
face.
pew pew.
I was using the wrong mouse. It's going to take a little bit longer.
Oh, awkward. Bye.